It's actually better than Miggy's running because his computer can handle that. I don't know if his
Yeah,
laptop could.
we
Probably
are
could, but
live, baby. What's
hey
up,
guys,
guys?
what's up?
Welcome
Welcome
back.
back. GhettoRig. We all are on our phones because Eddie, the main character of the pod, is on vacation.
He's enjoying
So
vacation.
we're hoping he's gonna hop on pretty soon. Let me see.
Yeah, he should be joining soon. Hopefully.
Episode 55.
If not, yep. Welcome to episode 55.
55,
We
yeah.
actually know this time, I think, out of all the
Yeah.
times.
I only know because I looked.
Well, with some lights in here, so my head is still gonna be shining. It's not gonna
It's
work,
all right.
no matter what I do. Yeah, it's a little sh less shine on my head.
You gotta get them darker orange tones. Get you some smart lights.
They're not smart, but I can change the tone, but it's done manually.
Ah,
Yeah, so over the top. I have them in a bathroom, but they're whatchamacallit. They constantly like you have to connect to them constantly.
yeah.
They always drop the connection, and I don't know if it's because it's an Apple thing or it's because just a technology thing. I don't know. It's more of a pain in
Depends.
the ass than it's definitely not seamless.
Oh yeah, especially with my shits. There's like times I'll be like, "Hey, turn this off," and then it'll be on for the next 5 minutes, and be like, "Oh yeah, let's turn that off for you."
Yeah, my Google's just. I have to do everything manual through my phone because it does not want to work with my assistant at all. I don't know what its
Dude,
issue is. The Wi-Fi just disconnects. I'll get it fixed for 1 day, 3 days later, it just disconnects, and I got to do it all over again. I've come to the point
Yeah,
where I'll just do everything through my phone. Just whatever.
that's usually the thing with the connections, man. Like it's just not. I hear that like the Wi-Fi connected ones, like the speakers, Wi-Fi connected speakers are better than like Bluetooth in connection stuff. But majority of the shit in the house, if it's smart, is connecting to Wi-Fi. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. The deal is,
I mean,
And we
that could
just
also
but
be your network too. Like if you just have one modem pushing everything out and nothing's actually routing, because like most internet companies will give you a modem router, but that's
mm-hmm.
really just a modem with very basic
Just a very
routing
basic one.
technology. Yeah.
yeah, I have that Echo router,
Hmm.
Echo through Amazon. That's the one I got. Well, it's a modem and then Echo router. So I don't
I've
know.
actually had all of them.
That.
I have Siri, I have Alexa, and I have Google. I have all of them. I'm
I don't
collect.
want to
Yeah,
say
but
the
I'm
name, but
col.
the Amazon assistant is what I have.
Hmm.
yeah, from what I understand, Amazon Assistant is Amazon one is probably going to be the most advanced one.
I,
Then anytime you get iPhones,
out
they're
of
usually on Android platform, and it's just not it.
all
Yeah.
of them, I actually do like the Alexa the most.
She has her issues and her quirks. She gets some attitude sometimes too, and sometimes she'll randomly like hear shit and be like playing or like do something, but like
the thing about
Oh,
from
did you?
what I've read, yeah,
the
she's
thing
kind of
about
Did,
Siri
uh
is that it's just so sensitive, super sensitive. So it'll hear you from across the house.
Now, did you hear that story? I don't know how it all ended, where the guy pretty much gets locked out of his house. All of his Amazon shit goes down because I think the delivery person thought that they were racist or whatever. Like something. So I guess they approached the door and the assistant was saying like something, and the person thought that they were saying the N word.
Oh,
So they reported this person, and then Amazon pretty much like shut everything down in his house for a couple of days. So they couldn't get inside the house. They couldn't do shit.
we have Eddie in the house. Welcome,
what's
Eddie.
up, Eddie?
What's up, guys? Yeah, shit's been all over the place. I
Can
was
you
trying
lower
to
your? Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
give me a second.
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna switch to my headset.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Sipping
To that.
tonight.
Hello.
Yeah, better.
Okay. Um.
Yeah, laptop officially took a shit.
Completely, it's not coming back.
Yeah, it's turning on. The screen took a shit.
Well, throw it in some rice, bro. Like, throw it in a bag of rice. No, I'm serious. Throw it in a bag
Big
of
old
rice.
bag.
Buy a
Yeah,
fucking
big old bag of rice.
buy a
10
50-pound
gallon
bag.
A fried board is still a fried board, even after
Yeah,
you eat
that's
it, right?
yeah. If it's fried, yeah. Do you still have the warranty on it?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Right. You're just gonna have
that
to wait to
came
get
in
here.
handy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. But yeah. But the thing that sucks is are we live by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we are. What's up, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
He just said
Sorry.
that 2 seconds ago. He's like, "Oh man, everything's just jumbled."
Hey,
Yeah,
by the
sorry
way, we
about
can't
that.
see you. We can't see you on the phone camera.
It's not a very
Yeah,
pretty sight
yeah.
right now.
There
I
we
just
go.
dealt with rain. What's up, guys? It's
Horizontal
pouring
view
outside.
is also better, by the way. It'll show.
Horizontal. You like
Yeah.
me to be like this?
Yeah, it's much better.
Gotcha.
You in a tent?
Gotcha.
He is. That
He's
thing
in
is
Yeah,
the
cool,
military
man.
tent.
We're in the
God
military
damn,
tent.
that's a
I will show
tent
you
and a
guys.
half. Jesus.
It has 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 16 beds in it.
16 beds?
Shit.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
You got that many people
Yeah.
there?
I don't think so.
So
But-
without admitting things, your uncle building a compound, right?
No.
He may not have the bunker yet, but he's got the tent.
Yeah, no. If you like, I wish I could show the rest of the place, but it's already dark out. And it's also raining, so I can't do
So
that.
are there any like animals, like, you know how in Puerto Rico they have the coquí, so it's caca, caca, the whole fucking night, right? Do you
Yeah.
guys have anything like that over there?
They're called mosquitoes.
A lot of
The
birds.
size of
A
coquille.
lot of birds.
A lot
Okay.
of birds, and you got crickets and stuff like that that make a lot of noise.
Because
But mostly,
in Cuba we have something similar. We also have frogs, but they don't sound like the coquí. They're more like
second, it's breaking up for
fucking
me, guys.
toads, dude.
Just all night. Just
All
that, like,
all
low
night.
groan.
Yeah, especially where I lived, where there was a lot of banana trees. That's where they love to hang out
wanna-
because the
I
bananas have
want
a
to
lot of
show you
moisture.
guys. I do want to show you guys why I was running around to give the stream a little pretense. I brought a whole setup with me, as you guys can see here. I had a laptop, microphone,
Yeah.
headset, and everything ready to go. There was just a little accident with my laptop. No big deal. I guess that's what warranty is for. But yeah, I want you guys to know I was a little more prepared ahead, but it's all right. It's all right. So you guys are talking about Amazon?
Talk about the assistants. We
Amazon.
were talking about this the other day, but do you hear about them trying to produce Wi-Fi, like public Wi-Fi, out of your assistant devices?
Oh shit.
Hmm.
So they're gonna
Who's
be able to
saying they're
use,
gonna do that?
they're trying to like use Home Alexa to be able to like broaden their reach,
Yeah, basically
kind of
like
like how
use the
Spectrum used to do.
combined count. Yeah, basically
Bright
use
House.
the combined power to then like broadcast that out to like just public Wi-Fi.
I remember.
So
I
are
don't know
they-
if it was true, but Bright House.
Are they
talked about how
gonna-
they had like random spots around town that just distributed?
Are they
it was
gonna-
sucked. They had it.
Are they gonna mooch off your own internet for that?
See, that's where it gets dicey, right? Because like people still pay for megabytes and stuff like that. So
Exactly.
and then also that's a free backdoor into your personal network too. So
Mhm.
like, I don't know about that, but they can already map out your house and tell how many people are in your house by just like signals off of your assistant devices. So like, the future's
Yeah.
coming, and it's a little scary.
Let's just say the American way of surveillance is a lot more discreet and makes you feel a lot safer than what China does. But it's technically kind of still the same thing.
Very true.
Yeah, but like, think about it. Like, what are they gonna use this shit for? They're not gonna use it for malicious intent.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they're gonna use it for
whenever-
data.
They do.
The NSA
Yeah.
collects how much useless data? Exactly.
It's just data, man. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, do I want that to happen? No, but if it does happen, I mean, they know already about you, you know. So
Right.
Oh yeah,
you're
they do.
literally like. so this app came up on my TV. It's like Tubi app, right? Tubi,
Yeah,
I don't
Tubi.
know, I don't know.
Tubi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tubi. And basically you can watch movies and whatever for free as long as you
Or
watch the
ads.
commercials, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
hmm So I turned the movie on and I'm watching the movie and he gave me Spanish commercials
Yeah.
because
What?
because on my yeah, Spanish commercials because on my Instagram I do watch both Spanish and English reels. On my Google,
A
when
lot
I
of
do
reels from Colombia specifically.
yeah, they're coming to you because I've been going to Colombia. Yeah, like it's literally because see, like a lot of people don't realize, like they're saying, "Oh, my phone spies on you." No, your phone doesn't really spy on you. The way it works is this: like, okay, all of us, let's say, are in one room. So let's say Alex looked at toothpaste and Eddie looked at watches. The next day, I'm gonna get in, like, because he looked at them today, and we're kind of talking about toothpaste and watches, right? Because he just looked at it. Most likely, it's gonna come up in a conversation. The next day, I'm going to get ads of toothpaste and watches. Not because your phone overheard you talk about toothpaste and watches, is because Alex looked at toothpaste and Eddie looked at watches, and we're in the same vicinity. We're friends. That means I should like the same things too.
I have to say
That's
I
how this all
disagree.
gets done. Huh?
I have to say I disagree and agree at the same time because from what it seems, I think it's both. I think it's both. I think they're gathering data with your cookie information, like how you're talking about, basically, like
Yeah.
what you've looked at and all that stuff, and just spreading it across the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, right? But I also feel that they have AIs implicated to where they're listening on your microphones for keywords, for products and stuff like that. If something
Oh
is
no.
said over 15, 20 times,
Yeah.
they're going to pick up on that. Even if you're not even on your phone, it could just be in your pocket. I feel like it's both.
I mean, if we're
So,
going specifically for the phone, yes, that's been caught, but that's in the terms and conditions of your assistant. So like,
Yeah, yeah, of
it's
course.
always
They have
listening to you,
access.
right?
yeah.
Like when you first
No,
go into
unless
these apps, they ask you, you want to give access to your microphone, you want to give access to your camera, you want to give access to your notifications. Like ask for this, and you say yes.
I mean, in the terms and conditions of owning an iPhone, you give them the right to scan your photos constantly to prove that you don't have child, abuse photos.
yeah. Well, the iPhone one says specifically when you are choosing, this says send data to iPhone for engineering purposes, right? Like mine is always turned off. I never send data to them. And anytime an app requests access to location and microphone, I always say no. Only certain apps get that, and those are usually like maps and
Yep.
shit that I
And
use.
two, you allow cookies too, because like all that, it's just packaged data in a nice little neat
That's what
thing
I'm
to
saying. The big
carry
data,
everywhere with you.
yeah, the big data is it,
Sorry, boys.
So
I'm just trying to go in. Since I'm only on my phone here, I want to go to the chat and see if there's anybody there and stuff.
Yeah, Arthur is.
no, I'm monitoring the chat. Miguelito
Your
is in.
daddy is
Okay.
too.
My
Yeah,
dad is in here. Arthur.
What's up,
Okay.
Arturo?
I have a couple of
Oh,
accounts.
okay.
Cheers.
I have a couple of accounts that have you in it too.
All right. I'm back. I'm back. Damn, pretty bummed. Looks like I have to go to Best Buy for more than one thing when I get back.
What do
Because
you mean?
right before I left, I was testing my headsets, the Sony's. I haven't used them in a while. And when I put them on, there's this weird noise coming on the right hand side. And I was gonna go to Best Buy before coming to DR to change them out, but I was like, fuck it, just a little noise. It's not gonna be a big deal. Like while we're just sitting here talking. Looks like I gotta go change two things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least you get to
Damn,
change them.
your laptop drank too much beer.
The part I'm a little worried about, uh, so I bought the laptop when I was working there, and I bought it with a discount, right? And I know
Oh
a
shit!
1,000%. I mean, I'm not sure, but almost for sure that they don't sell the same laptop. So when I go in, they're not going to be able to replace it, and they're only going to give me the amount of money that I paid towards it. Versus, it doesn't matter. Like for example, because I was an employee, I swapped it. Like I got a pretty good discount on it, basically. And they're not gonna just say like that's the value of the laptop. You can put that value towards something else. No, they're gonna say, okay, how much did you pay? And you can take that payment and put it towards something.
Well, do they know how much you paid?
We might, yeah, because it's all in the receipts and the stuff. And another thing is, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe might not even get a laptop. Might use the money towards getting that road.
Yeah,
Because
well,
like I
I
said,
mean,
I'm
and
not gonna
that's
be able to
that's
get
granted
another
they don't
laptop.
have the laptop, right? Like that's granted they don't have another laptop. If they do, they'll give it to you.
Let me see. Let me go real quick and see. Because if they do, yeah, they'll swap it out regardless of what I paid, right? Because it's the same item.
Yeah.
Um, yo,
I mean, you used to work there.
hey,
Just go butter up someone you know.
yeah, I could try, but
Walk out there with like a
I know a
Strix
guy that
fucking,
knows a guy, you know?
like gaming
yeah.
laptop.
What are you trying to buy on the road? The caster?
The big road interface. Yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
So road.
Oh shit. They still have the laptop. Hell yeah,
There you
boys.
go.
Hell yeah. It looks like it's the same one.
There you go. Because the laptop is pretty new, bro. Like, I don't
Oh, nope,
see.
it's not the same one. It's not the same one. Fuck. Well, at least this is a similar one that's actually going for around the same price that I bought mine for. That I'll be able to swap it out. I don't know. We'll see. Because I kind of don't necessarily need. I mean, I do and I don't need a laptop for school and stuff. Yeah, so Amazon wants to siphon Wi-Fi. People tripping. I don't understand what they want to use their assistants, all of them, like even little small Echo devices. I don't understand how it's gonna work.
It's not an implemented device yet or system yet, but we don't know if it's gonna
It,
be like a opt in, opt out thing or a part of your terms and conditions kind of thing, you know.
yeah,
Well,
it makes
with
sense.
the
Makes sense.
with that Roadcaster that you're looking at, it's only 1080p. You know that, right? The black
What do
box,
you mean?
it's only 1080p transmission. If we're
Uh,
talking about the same one. Are you talking about
no,
the
I'm not.
voice interface or like the that black box thingy?
So the one I'm talking about is the big interface that doesn't do video. It's just for our audio
Just the
setup.
voice audio one? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm not the stream. The one you're looking at is a new one they released. It's called the Streamer X. That is basically a small audio interface with XLR, and it also has a capture card built in, which is pretty cool. I think it's a. I saw that
Well,
product
that's
and I
one
was like,
person,
damn.
right?
Yeah, it's like a. I think it's not even like a podcast setup. Really, like you buy that Streamer X more for like your personal like streaming setup for like a desk, like if you're playing games or something. That's a really good thing to buy.
Hmm.
It's also pretty expensive. It's like $400 for a single interface and a single capture card basically built in. You are getting Rode quality devices, so which is really cool. But no, the one I'm talking about is the big Rode interface. It's like $700.
Hmm.
That would be really cool. It would basically replace our Behringer, or
Yes,
not necessarily replace, but it would all kind of be like an add-on because we would be able to have
add-on,
like
yeah. Hmm.
a
Because
bunch more mics, stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. Because you're gonna have a more of a you can add a bunch of sounds and shit to it. You know, where you can push a button, things
Yeah.
like that. It's gonna work a little bit
Yeah.
better.
It's got a full soundboard, and another thing is it has inputs for two computers, and it's not
It's a
really inputs
mixer.
like analog. It's
Which one
kind
are
of
you
like
looking
the
at?
way it's called, just the Rodecaster 2, the Rodecaster Pro 2,
The Rodecaster
the
Pro 2.
big
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good one
and
because
it
it's
and
got
it
four.
and it
That one has four channels and stuff like that.
and it's even better than the mixer I'm using right now, right? Like the Go XLR implicator for my setup, it's even better than that because the Go XLR uses like analog signals, like where I have to plug in auxiliary cables from both setups to mix everything together. This device actually just uses USB cables, USB-C cables that will plug into each computer separately and control everything top to bottom. So less cable setup, and it's seamless as fuck. And when I mean seamless, it's really balanced.
Yeah, no, that one is good.
Uh,
It's perfect for it because
we'll
when I
see.
was doing a review when we were starting the podcast, when I was doing the review,
Yeah,
this one kept
we were
coming up.
talking about buying that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember you told me about buying that and like the Black Magic A10 box,
Yeah, Black Magic
a
A10
badass
box.
setup, which is like a badass setup for if you're starting off and you have absolutely no gear. Like I would say those are the two things you could probably buy, and you would have a pretty decent setup from starting. The problem was that we already had a bunch of gear, right? And it was kind of
Mm.
like not pointless,
Pointless.
but it was just like it was a little overspending. You know what I mean? To go for the Atom and to go for the Road right away because we didn't really need it. We
Yeah,
still don't need it, you know?
it'll make so with that Aiden Black Magic box, it'll make Miggy's job easier because then he just pushes a button and then, but then you have to have multiple cameras and that Aiden Black box all can handle maximum was 8 cameras, but that's a 1080p. That's what I was saying. That one is only 1080p.
Yeah, exactly. The ATEM the ATEM is cool for multi-angle setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it records all 4 or 6 or 8 angles,
All at the
however many
same time.
all at the same time, so you can go in and cut it separately, right? Like that would basically, if we had multiple cameras and had the black magic, it wouldn't necessarily eliminate Mickey's job, but it would not, like eliminate that part of his job, but it would make it a lot more seamless
Yeah,
in the sense that
you just
he
push a
could
button
worry
and then.
about he could go about what's going on in OBS live, for the moment, but like for example, further recordings, he can go back and get different angles of the same exact footage,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool.
Anyway, so
How was
bro,
everybody's day
I had
today? What'd you guys
something.
do?
Oh, so okay, so I got something. So what are you guys thinking is going on right now with Newsom?
You guys told me about this guy. I don't really know who he is though.
Yeah, I didn't
Give me
really
some
pay
more
too much
backstory.
attention to him.
Our
The
in-house political
governor,
commentator step in.
governor of California.
Right,
He
right, right, right. There you go. There you go. The guy he talked about
So
running now.
he's had a lot of backlash about prison reform, but he's also done a lot for prison reform.
so so
Interesting.
I'm talking about more in a sense that do you guys think he's gonna be the runner? Do you guys think that Biden is gonna step down and he's gonna be the next person?
Out of what we
No,
got in the pool,
I don't think so.
I would love to see Newsom versus Chris Christie. But will that
Chris
happen?
Christie.
Yeah,
Probably
I don't
not.
think so. I don't think so. So Chris Christie
Not.
right now is doing the only thing that Republicans won't do and talking shit about Trump. He's going around saying we need to better the Republican Party. We need to realize and give in on some change. And he's actually trying to be a moderate to left leaning Republican. And I
Well, he's
think
trying to be in the middle, you're saying,
exactly. He's trying,
should be good.
right? Now, Chris Christie's tried this pony I don't know how many times and lost, so and
All right. Sorry for the camera cut.
Trump's just gonna destroy him on any like debate with like insults and shit. So like
Here,
Well, the other
since
day I
I'm
was
on my
looking at some.
phone,
The other day I was
I'm
looking at
gonna
some
see
ratings.
if it's not raining.
The other day I was looking at some ratings, and so Biden and Trump they both have a only 43 or 44% approval rate. And this was
yeah,
done, I think, I don't remember who it came through. The reason I'm saying this is because that whole impeachment thing, who was the one that was reporting? It wasn't Fox and it wasn't CNN. Who was reporting the impeachment thing?
what do you mean?
Like the whole new impeachment thing for Biden that they pushed through Congress.
Oh yeah.
It was ABC and NBC and MSNBC that was reporting on this. And historically, they didn't just, in my opinion, they didn't just like get up one day and decide, oh, we're going to be journalists and report what's going on. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey Jay, real
there's,
quick. I
yeah,
don't want to cut you off, but I just want to show real quick because I'm walking out of the tent because it's not raining. Just
Just
to
want to
show the
make
that's
stream
us
real
nice.
quick.
jealous, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I just want to make you guys jealous and shit. So that's the tent, the military tent we're staying in. This is the property. Huge. Property is huge. Back there, behind those bushes over there,
Huge.
big
It's
ass
Emily
village.
huge.
says glamping.
It's huge. It's huge. No, I mean, yeah. Then the main house is right up here. I'm walking up now. It's just insane. The thing that my uncle has built here. This is like the main house,
It looks like the
which is even
cenotes,
cooler.
bro. It's like a Dominican cenote, just for like one family.
But yeah, it's badass.
Is
But
that
no,
my
he's
brother there?
Chill as fuck. Is that
yeah, this is
Art?
Arthur. That's
What's
the
up,
man who's
Art?
responsible for all this. Lynette or Emily.
When is
Yeah,
your
the place
dad?
is badass.
When is your dad coming?
He should be coming tomorrow.
He said he's
Nice.
leaving after midnight.
He's leaving
Guess
after
what, Arthur?
midnight.
I'm taking it to Best Buy when I get back. What's up?
But yeah, um,
Uh,
no one
let
wants
me
a
just put my bag.
Biden Trump again, but that's probably what we're gonna end up getting, unfortunately.
So yeah, so what I was saying is like, because they don't just, wake up one day and decide, oh, I'm gonna be a journalist and report exactly what's happening, right? Like there's gotta be an agenda. They're most likely prepping for for pushing Biden out as the main candidate, and then the next person in line could be coming in as Newsom. But what he needs to do, in my opinion, he needs to go out there and at least like, oh, I support Biden. So when they do get rid of Biden, everybody's gonna say, look at that guy. He was such a good supporter. You know what I mean? He's an outstanding guy. You know what I mean? And then go for him.
I mean, possibly. I feel like it's more like this is something that's so weak and shallow that even the Republicans can't lie their way into some type of like spin of it.
Are you
Like
talking about
that,
impeachment?
yeah, the evidence of the impeachment. But
Bullshit. I mean,
As soon as
bottom line is if they want to get evidence, they
NVMe
can put
or a board
evidence. You know
mounted.
what I mean? But what I'm
Those
trying to
NVMe's
say,
are
because
usually
they
black.
technically have all the way up until November, up until Thanksgiving to get all this ball rolling with Newsom, because after Thanksgiving is too late, right? So
yeah,
that's the maximum time he has up to Thanksgiving. But so in reality, he only has maybe 60 days to get this ball rolling.
I don't know if he's even announced.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't even
Yeah,
announced.
So
So
he's talked about running, but he hasn't actually announced.
but he's also a good like he leans corporate when it comes to Democrats. So like, and when corporate Democrats say Joe Biden's our man, everyone else falls in line. So he might
not
do
only
it.
that, he's not afraid to go on podcasts. He was on a show with somebody and he absolutely destroyed that person on their
Yeah,
own show.
he comes with facts.
Yeah.
He did it to Hannity. I know about
Hannity,
that.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Hannity. He did that to Hannity. So, and he's not afraid to go to podcasts and go on road shows, and things like that. So I mean, if the Democrats were smart about it, they would start pushing him.
if they were smart, but they're not. So I can see them like grooming him for 2020.
Next one.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be hard this one because we're gonna have a lot of infighting within the parties themselves. So
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll just have to see what the shit show's gonna be.
Hmm. Okay, so what do you got on Russia, man? I've been hearing like both sides of the cam. There are people that are saying that Russia is doing, well, and there are people saying that he's doing bad. What? And like this is not like Russian propaganda shit, right? Like this is our own people, like military people that are saying that they're doing well.
Um, I don't know about like you mean like strategically well with Ukraine.
Yeah, because they're pretty much all the way to the west part of Ukraine, which they really didn't really want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So strategically, they've lost populated land and have
Hmm.
made more fronts on. I don't want to say it was more like industrial farmland now,
Which is
which
that's his
is
goal.
vital. It's vital. Yeah, that's
That's
he
his goal,
knows that
literally.
that's how you starve out Ukraine, but they have a lot of help from everyone else. So I don't know. But with Group and their fucking revolt here recently, that
Yeah.
was one of their strongest military mights. So we'll see. They had to bomb themselves to get rid of Wagner, who's now living in exile in Belarus.
Yeah, because see, the thing is with them, like we've been talking about it. There's this opinion as well. Now I don't know how much I agree with it. They were saying that hey, there's a lot of noise, Eddie. They were saying that they're not they're not going to they're saying that he could possibly because we can say okay we have this strategic nuke that's only like for ground forces blah 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 and it's not going to have the fall off and things like that. That's complete bullshit, right? Like even if you hit it with a strategic nuke or wherever you're going to hit it, you're
They
still going to have a
used to,
fallout.
like back in the day, they used to have nukes that you put on your back. That was like, you got dropped in, you carried the nuke with a team, and then like you set it off, and it wasn't like the big ones that they dropped from planes.
Yeah,
But them gauging that nuclear fallout is, because wind could blow,
that's what I'm
change, and
saying.
shit could go bad. And like,
and the problem is if they do set that off, right? Other people are gonna set off their nukes too, because what's gonna happen? They're like, if we don't set them off, we're gonna lose them.
I could see it, but we also have a lot of anti, like ICBM technology, like missiles to take out rockets and shit like that. So I would say boots on the ground in Russia would come before people start setting off nukes in response.
Yeah, and the boots on the ground won't go in until
They
NATO is in NATO is in danger, which is what's going to happen. I think even if Ukraine joins NATO, you're going to have boots of Russia all the way up to the border of Poland just sitting there. You know what I mean? Like, so like there is no win-win on this.
But like who we got boots because like we're number one and like maybe Germany can get boots there quicker, but like we would have to
Or
be
we
the
talk about
mass force.
That's what I
you guys
said.
mentioned
We
the
will
other
need to
day,
join that, and then go ahead.
how they have to. You guys talking about the other day, basically like that NATO's kind of disagreed that like they understand that Russia's not going to be able to sustain this for long, and they just kind of let their.
That's the theory. That's what they
Bro,
guess.
Okay.
they were saying that Putin has terminal cancer and he's gonna die any minute now. That didn't happen. There were people saying, "Oh, it's gonna be only 2 weeks. Russia cannot sustain it." That didn't happen. Oh, it's gonna be a month. That didn't happen. It's been a
They also
freaking
said
year.
that Russia would revolt, and that kind of happened. I mean, it was killed very fucking quickly
Yeah,
and
that was quick.
strategically. But like when you are the number one fucking military might in Russia, mercenary military might, and you get fucked that quickly, you're just like, man, I'm kidding. I'm going to Belarus.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
say. Like, a lot of people are underestimating him. And I think a lot of people are not looking at the full picture, right? Because we could give a shit about Ukraine. Try to explain Ukraine to an average American. They don't even know what that is to begin with. So now come back and say, okay, well, we're going to send troops to Ukraine. You know what I mean? At least when they were sending troops to like Afghanistan and Baghdad and all of those areas, that was like, well, they put our towers down. They're terrorists. They're this. They're that. They kind of knew what they're getting into, but now like this is completely unheard of territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For them,
but
like this is unknown territory.
we couldn't point out Afghanistan, Iraq, and tell the difference until the war on terror happened. So like we didn't
That's
go
what
there to
I'm saying.
fight Afghanistan. We went there to fight terrorists. So we wouldn't be
That's what I'm
going to
saying.
Ukraine to fight, in
What?
Ukraine. We would go to be fighting Russia.
That's what
That
I'm
would be the
saying.
push.
Yeah, but like there has to be a reason why we're going in there. We can't just go in there.
But
So
I don't know. I still feel my hope is they're just trying to play with the Cold War again, make it a little hot again, so we kind of have
that
that.
that that's gonna have to happen because we all know it's the land that because right now BlackRock is looking at that, Monsanto is looking at that because that land is super super fruitful. Like if any of our companies are controlling that land, like game over.
Especially for food production.
Yes,
Yeah,
because all that area, like what's our largest import? Wheat, corn, and pork, right?
right. Grain. Yep. It's the biggest
So
import.
that land is
Export. Sorry.
literally would subsidize us exporting the shit from here, and then we just produce it there and export it from there, which is more connected.
We
And
are lucky
railroads and
because we have a lot of food production land,
yeah,
but now we also support a lot of countries that need food too. So
yes, and that's what I'm saying. So now you have Ukraine that has this really good land that is centrally located, and the railroad system is really good in that area. I mean, it's shit, but it's laid out.
yeah,
You know what I
I
mean? So now
mean
you got railroad companies
industrially,
going in
yeah,
there. Yeah,
but
you got
Putin
infrastructure, right?
Putin likes trains. You know.
I don't know. Out of here. Maybe I put it in my
So
backpack.
I don't know how that's gonna end up being. I think it's just gonna be like this. I think this is gonna last, and then it's gonna be if 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 our government gets enough uproar, then yeah, we'll go into war. But I don't think it's gonna be that because half of the people don't give a shit about the United States, what's going on there in Ukraine and Russia. They just really don't care to get that uproar going. And if that happens, it's gonna be just like another Vietnam. Bring the boys back because they're dying. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
We might authorize airspace start doing drone strikes first, and then like
But
work up
over
from there.
Ukraine?
Like maybe strategic places on the front line or towards like the Russian border. But like
That's what
anything
I'm saying. They have
in
to
the
get to the
Russian
border.
border, yeah, anything in
Yes,
the Russian
game
border is
over.
going to be the act of war. So like, we'll have to see. Let's see how it cooks.
So I don't know, man. It's looking strange, you know. And this is I don't foresee this stopping anytime soon. I think it's just going to continue, and I think Ukraine is just going to end up being. It's leaning more towards that kind of like what Chechens are to Russia. You know what I mean? It's just going to be that, you know. So
We'll see. They're giving a hell of a fight, and they're getting a lot of money to back them. So
yeah, yeah. As I said, well,
So I tried to ask earlier, what you guys do today? How was your guys' day?
Just been working a lot.
you know, just regular day as usual. You know, prepping for this topics for the pod. You know what I'm saying?
You went to jujitsu today?
Jiu-jitsu.
Oh, right, you have it canceled for now, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have it on the stop.
Instructions. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Due to
Yeah, it makes sense.
constructions, I have it stopped.
Are you doing any work while your brother's gone? No, right?
Today I didn't do any work because I knew pod is coming up, and I was like just tired from a couple of days of not sleeping and doing a bunch of shit.
Your brother's telling me how he can barely like make a fist because of his grip is all like worn out.
You tell him to start coming to jujitsu, and he's gonna learn how to hold. He's gonna have
He's gonna learn that
grips of
grip.
steel because I don't have that issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him, I was like, I remember working construction, like the days we did like a lot of windows or something that was heavy, and like all day just gripping shit hard. Like the next day, it was hard to make a fist in the mornings. I remember like because you just your forearms were so fucking inflamed.
Jiu-jitsu fixes that, bro. All you have to do is go to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu fixes a
Shit,
lot of issues.
I don't know if the hour and a half of jiu-jitsu is comparative to like installing 20 impact windows.
Oh, and when you do that shit for a year or two, it'll be enough. I promise you. Because
Yeah.
I was wearing the mask. You know, I was wearing the mask, glasses in the house when we're dealing with insulation and things like that. I even went to the attic a couple of times. My brother was up there. He was like fucking dying. I was like, get down. Let me go up there. And I was like I was uncomfortable, but it was like because I'm used to that type of heat and that like not being able to breathe.
To
I
breathe,
was like,
yeah.
yeah, okay, this is nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and oh yeah, you were
Getting in
asking about the geese. Those are the geese behind me.
no. Yeah, getting in an attic at nighttime is a little different in the summer. No? Oh, you got it? It was there? Oh, thank you. I haven't lost my vape. Emily went on a mission to find it.
Did you buy some?
No, we brought these. We brought these.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So you did go and buy some?
Yeah, Emily asked. She was like, "Hey, do you want me to buy you one while we're there?" Fuck it. You know, I didn't bring my like day-to-day vape. I didn't,
Oh, you didn't
just in
bring your
case.
vape?
Nah, just in case they were gonna know about it. I just decided to leave it home
I'm sure on your
because they
uncle's
don't like.
property, you could just go walk around somewhere and you'll find what you need.
Yeah, yeah. That's fairly easy, but yeah, flying with it is not a decision. They don't like open. They don't like open containers when it comes to
Don't
like.
pull a Brittany Griner.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not. I know. I understand what's illegal in country. We'll keep it that way. Shit.
Oh yeah, so
That reminds me.
that's what I had as far as
Oh,
news
there's a
goes for
gift.
today. What else? What else? There was something else out there that I want to talk about. Ooh, I'm gonna see. I
Oh, did I
write
tell
this
you
shit
guys
down.
about my chiropractic joke?
No.
It
Go
was
ahead, Andrew Schultz.
it was about a week back.
Miggy, you you left.
Damn,
He
you
left.
made
He left.
Eddie
He
leave.
didn't want to deal with
Damn.
that.
He didn't tell you to take a lap. He was just like, nah, just can't.
You are barred
Dude,
from
I had
telling
to know
jokes from now on.
that. A bard?
You're barred.
Ah, shit! You've been officially disbarred as a comedian. You are not allowed to participate in
Oh, Miggy,
civic activities.
so how are things going on I should say that.
They going, bro.
I'll
They
put it in
going.
the
What
chat.
can I say? They going.
Oh, you know what I'm talking
They
about?
going. They going. Things are going. Things are going.
Foundation being laid.
You know what they say,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Patience is a virtue.
Hey, you gotta you gotta lay foundation before you can lay pipe. I'm just saying,
Exactly. You can't just do straight plumbing,
you know.
How long you been laying the foundation, bro?
bro. It takes a couple days.
That foundation is 30 inches thick. That they can't even get a house on top of it anymore.
Hey, you
God
know.
damn.
How big that foundation
Hey, they
is.
finished the whole house. Now they want to start doing the plumbing type shit.
Shit. But
The whole house was done. No water. No water at all. No water was run through that bitch. No drainage. No nothing. It's just a
sometimes
house
you
with
just
doors and windows.
sometimes you just gotta show the illusion of foundation, you know what I'm saying, my boy?
Kind of like what they did
Hey,
with
fake
Jay's
it. Hey, sometimes you
plumbing.
gotta fake it till you make it. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Uh, so I was wondering, Alex, because I know you had told me, like, because I remember when we talked about Andrew Tate. I saw some. I had watched the first like 5 minutes of his thing with Aiden Ross today. I couldn't actually stick through it because he was just being too much of a dickhead. Uh, but I was telling you like, oh, I saw he got indicted. You said that's what they do, like for politics, that he was just charged this and that. But I keep looking, and everything says he was indicted, and then he was never. He's still home.
Yes.
Is he still on house
Yes.
arrest? Like,
They'll let him go. They'll let him go. The judge said you can go.
Yeah.
oh, so they indicted him on these charges. You can
Oh,
So
star
they
type.
were supposed to
still
give him
trial
a court
on
date,
there.
and they didn't do that. They said you gotta go. We gotta figure out when the court date is gonna be, basically.
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah,
really
and then
make
Alex
this a home run because, like, when the government charges you, they want a I win case.
got you. They're like making sure that they have everything, like dotting their I's, crossing their T's, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
going across. But a question I
Which
had for
tells
you.
you that they don't have what they need. That's why they're doing this, or
Or
they
they're
don't have
crossing I's,
enough.
they're dotting I's and crossing T's. Anyways, though, like, why? What is this whole like? I know you told me politicians get indicted, right? Like, this is like a formal way
Oh,
of telling them,
oh,
hey, you're in
that was
trouble.
just a
Like,
joke. It's just a legal term for being presented your charges. That's what
okay,
I was just yeah, I was just joking that,
You're just being
yeah,
served
politicians,
papers,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I know what you meant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're saying like usually these people don't get indicted, usually politicians
Right.
do, and
Hey, I'll be right
I get
back.
what you mean. I get what you mean.
Culturally
Uh,
and news people will be like indicted when it comes to like politicians and stuff, but like when it comes to like influence and shit, it's like you were charged. It's already a negative connotation where indicted sounds a little better.
yeah, it's weird though. Every article I saw in newsletter or whatever it was saying Andrew Tate indicted on charges. Indicted on
Yeah,
charges.
yeah, yeah,
That was the fucking the headline. Indicted on charges, right? So I was just kind of wondering like that, and then I also saw like we were talking about charges and stuff, but then I saw him like I just said like he was doing the interview with Mr. Aiden Ross, which was like I said, I sat there for look, man, I can enjoy good satirical content, right? Like you guys know me. Like, I have deep dark humor, right? But like that shit, he was just being an asshole to him. Like it wasn't even satirical humor. It was literally like, why didn't you write to me in jail? Why didn't you do this? Why'd you stop working out? Like it's just being a
hey,
dickhead to him. Like and like not and like these things, I guess you could probably say in a certain way. Like the way he was making Aiden feel was fucking like insane. It was so dumb.
Aiden kind of did that to himself too. He was
Uh,
like, I want to be your bitch boy, let me be your bitch
yeah,
boy, and he took
yeah,
Well,
it.
yeah, he kind of went for that big brother father figure type of deal, right? So he's
100%.
treating them like a kid. That's what he's
And
doing.
I mean, if that's how Andrew wants it,
I
but
mean, there are apparently more charges coming about child
really,
trafficking, so
child
we'll
trafficking.
see.
So now they're underage too. Damn, my boy's really fucked.
We'll see.
Well,
Oh,
now here's the
we'll
thing.
see, right? I
What
guess we'll see.
what if this whole thing goes through and he's found not guilty? Are you guys changing your opinion about him?
No,
What do you mean?
I still think he's a fake dickhead that's trying to
I
get
still
money.
have the same. I still have the same opinion, top to bottom, on Be
No,
like,
no,
like
no, no,
he
no.
says.
About the whole grape case, the trafficking, the
Yeah,
this,
Well,
the
but
that.
this is my thing. I don't think my opinion is gonna change because it's kind of hard to disagree with a man saying he did it. I'm just being honest with you. You know what I mean? Like they're watching those
Which
cases. It's kind of hard to like be like, "Ah, I get what you're saying. We had this conversation. I'm not hearsay, right? Like, oh, I'm just saying. But like Alex said, fuck. If you're just saying that, bro, you're really fucking.
yeah, yeah, because like
You know what I mean? Like,
hearsay has its limits. Like hearsay can be like just joking in a joking manner, like on the
yeah.
podcast, right? That could be used as hearsay. That could be used as uh freedom of speech, right? But when you put that price tag on that bitch
And
and
you
you
make it
say
an
that it's an
instructional.
educational instructional video,
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked. I don't know if we talked about this, but I think a lot of that stuff is not about his days of cams. It's about TikTok videos
I
within
mean,
the past couple of years.
his
the
TikTok
instructional
videos are
that
different.
Bruce. Yeah, but no,
I
this is
know.
like an instructional that they broke down, and the instructional literally broke down outcomes, right? But it broke down his origin story, how he went about that, and
No,
refined it into this well-oiled machine he called.
what I'm saying when I say TikTok videos, I'm talking about these girls, right? They came forward and said, "Oh, he made us work and took our money and this and that," is because of the TikTok videos, not the content
I
before.
I get what you're saying, right? Like the content they're trying to attack him with isn't the one we're necessarily talking about, right?
Correct.
But
Correct.
right, I get, we talked about this actually, I think about after the pod the other day. I don't know. I mean, like I said, my views haven't changed on him, even after I watched like Bruce Rivers breakdown, you know, kind of like got a legal view of him, right? Because I have no legal knowledge, so I'm looking at it as just a basic pedestrian in taking this content. But after I get a breakdown on how these laws work, in front of me and information is content presented in front of me, it's kind of
It'd be
hard to argue, right? But
Yeah, it'd
like
be
I said,
interesting to see somebody that's for him and is breaking it down as a lawyer as well. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Because then you get
this
both
guy,
sides of the things. You know what I mean?
I mean, Bruce
Because
Rivers has
the
said
truth is
many
going to be
times.
somewhere in the middle. It's not going to
Yeah,
be that or this.
It,
Bruce is a
Bruce has
defense
said,
lawyer, and that's the
yeah,
thing. Like, and if you can watch different sides, but like, it's kind of hard to find a red pillar
it
that's gonna legally
the
break it down.
illegal, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
a legal red pillar, and even Bruce says it. Like he goes and talks about how he thinks that this case isn't going to be like he said it, and he said, I think Andrew's not going to get a fair case because of the judge being presented in front of him. Like it's the same judge that's already accusing him of like filing, I guess, agreeing with filing all these charges and stuff. So he said it. Like I don't think he's gonna get a fair trial. He should get another judge who wants to get a fair trial. Like from what it looks like to me, he's absolutely fucked because of this and because of that.
right.
But
And
they changed the judge.
he gives the fair and unfair side. You know what I mean?
I think they changed the judge. It's a new judge now, not the original
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And then the second
Uh.
thing is he also has the top defense attorney in United States or top second defense attorney in United States that's defending him, right? And
Okay.
she's top two or top one, I don't know. But would you think she would take up this case knowing that she's gonna lose? You know what I mean? Like, because that would hit that would pretty much guarantee
I
her
wouldn't.
a professional suicide if she loses this case with a person that is this visible.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
get what you're
mean?
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would like to see. I mean, we'll probably never get this right because of legal stuff, right? But it would be
Well,
interesting to
they're
see
not allowed to
a
talk about it.
breakdown. Yeah, exactly, because it's legal stuff, right? Like I just said, we're probably never going to see this, but it'd be nice to see 100% like truthful breakdown on how this lawyer feels this case, which something we're never going to get, right? Like I
Yeah,
said,
because
because of all the legal stuff
client
involved.
lawyer privilege. Number two, they're not allowed to leak any information, through the
I
Yeah,
court of
mean,
we're
what's happening.
there's been a lot of leaks.
we're not
Yeah,
we're not going
They're
to get.
not
from both
allowed to,
sides.
but
From
yeah.
Yeah,
both sides. From both sides.
we're not going to get what I just said. It'd be nice to see it, right? Because someone could get a fucking first person interactions with this and is a lawyer, right? Which can break down things. I'm
At the
assuming,
end of
right?
the day, here's the problem. At the end of the day, whichever way it goes, we're not gonna know the full truth. Like we're not gonna know what exactly happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't think they're gonna let us know that, because I think if they did let us know that, we would be we would completely be disappointed by any type of system.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, babe.
I don't know.
I
Can I see your
mean,
phone?
that's why we set
Emily,
up the
can I see your phone?
jujitsu area where we try to
Jiu-jitsu
figure it out.
system?
Yeah,
Let's roll about. Fuck that. Whoever wins.
I mean,
first step,
5 minute roll.
drinking and
Andrew Tate versus
I don't know
the
how many years.
accusers, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the one time I think.
Oh shit, you're drinking?
Yeah,
Why?
why? I don't fucking know. I just felt like drinking today. I ain't drinking
Oh, what are you
fucking
drinking?
years. Wine.
Oh,
Simple.
yeah,
man, there you go, a man of
So,
class.
damn, that makes me want to go get a drink because I bought. So you guys know.
the
Uh,
antioxidants in?
I like Dominican rum, Dominican dark aged rum, and I always try all the different cool, like nice guys they have from the two brands that we like here in DR, Barcelona and Brugal. And today I found this bottle that a cousin told me about 2 years ago, and he was like, "Look, man, I found this. And it's like the best thing I ever got." I personally, it's not my favorite, but it's really cool because it's called Doble Reserva, like double reserve. It's aged in whiskey barrels and wine casks. So
Did you get a sweet
it's got
taste
like this.
too?
It's not necessarily sweet. The rum is very. It's weird. The rum's actual taste is very flat. It's actually kind of flat, which is why I don't understand. I don't enjoy it. It's not strong enough. But the essence and aromas that it gives, you can tell it's Asian wine or aged in whatever wine cask or whatever they're using. You can tell it has that essence of wine in it. I'm gonna bring a bottle back so you go. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's not the best rum. It's not the best rum. It's very flat. The flavor's not that strong. Kind of reminds me of a. It's like a really unsweet leyenda, and then it's got these extra aromas.
Oh, a very unsweet
Yes.
legenda. That sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah, like it kind of reminds me of leyenda. It's the same brand, Brugal. Shout out to just got the peeps.
Hey, where did you get that? In the store or in
Oh,
an airport?
yeah. I went to a place that's funny because the guy that's driving around told him I was run, and he goes, "Oh, you want to go to?" And I heard Home Depot, and I go, "Motherfucker, you got Home Depot for run? What is this guy saying?" And when we pull up, it's Ron Depot, like because rum in Spanish is ron.
Ron Depot.
Ron Depot, and I'm like, "Motherfucker," and we go in there, and they just have every kind of thing,
So
all this like
who's there
special
right
edition.
now? It's you. Who's there right now? You four and your mom?
So, our trip, like our group came me, Emily, my mom, my sister, Arthur, and my grandparents and my aunt Mirja.
Okay.
And then here as well as my little cousin Amy, my aunt and uncle. Yeah, that's really like the whole group. It's a decent amount of us out here. My dad will be here tomorrow. I think he gets here early as fuck. Like his flight takes off at 5 in the morning.
Mm.
So he's got to be in Orlando by
Oh, and
like
he's
3.
flying from Orlando too.
Yeah,
Shit. So
he's
he's
got.
leaving at 12 o'clock then. But when he see this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna leave to
He's about. He's
Orlando.
about to leave.
Next.
He's about to leave in 2 hours.
Yeah, but this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna leave early, and then it's gonna take him probably hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Orlando. He's gonna
Hour
get to
and
the
a half.
airport.
No traffic at that time.
Yeah, he's gonna get to the airport, and they're not gonna let him in into the main area. So he's gonna have to wait in like the lobby area till about 4:30.
Yeah. Well,
Because
we
I've done
got
the mistake
there.
getting to the airport early, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't get in until 4:30."
The That's a little different when you're talking domestic versus international flight. Because with international flights, they actually suggest for you to be there 3 hours early.
No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you mean. I'm telling you, like the gate, the tram doesn't work till 4:30. Well, that was Tampa.
Oh,
That
okay,
was
I get.
Tampa. That was Tampa.
We got we got to because we left around 4. We got by 5:30. Yeah, because our flight boarding around 7:50. Almost 8. We left around 8:30. Uh,
What time did you land?
yeah, man, it was a very normal. Like, what time did I land? I landed right. 11? 11?
Now, who your uncle pick you up, guys?
So no, we had a driver, amazing driver by the way. He was really cool. He stopped everywhere we wanted to stop with no hesitation. Helped us out a lot.
Where'd you get the
He took
driver?
us.
What's
We got
up,
Arturo.
So the driver was a
Are
recommendation
you
from my
here
uncle.
with the
He knows them.
shocker, huh?
Yeah. Hey, Arthur, let me ask you this. Your dog hasn't really pooped, and what time does he poop?
All right. He said your dog. Or if you want to put it on. Your the no other side. Your. He
Your
said,
dog
"Go
hasn't
ahead and
pooped,
Jake."
really? Your dog hasn't pooped yet? What time does he poop?
Oh, if you don't poop today, you poop tomorrow. Relax.
Bro,
Yeah.
this fat ass. So this morning he got to my house, right? So I see his food. First thing I do, wake up in the morning, I want to run to the bathroom, but the dog is here. So you gotta be a good uncle and take care of the dog first, right? So
Fuck that! I go take a piss.
so I give him water. I give him water. I put some food in his bowl. He eats it, and then I start to like, hey, oh, only 1 cup per day. He's like, yeah, 1 cup. Don't feed him in the morning because I already feed him. I was like, this fat fuck didn't tell me you already had food, and he ate twice this morning. And
Hey,
then
you guys, they give him.
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Yeah, but he gets a good.
Oh, he's a fat.
You're blocking the mic by having.
Oh.
Now
he'll
you
be
just
all right.
can't hear him.
Still can't hear him. It's the big nose getting in the way,
It's blocking the
Causing
Wi-Fi
interference.
signal.
Can you hear me?
It's fucking up the Bluetooth
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
signal.
we can hear you.
No, I don't know why it's doing that. He was just saying that he ate around 3 a.m. He'll be alright. It wasn't that big of a deal. He didn't eat too close together.
Yeah,
But
but he's been hungry
I'm
all
not
day.
surprised.
That's all he wants to do is eat.
Yeah, no, that's weird though. At my house, he doesn't like. You know what it is? It's because Nala's there. And Nala's food is there, so he's fucking being a bitch about it. That's because at my house, do you grab me one, brother? Thank you.
Hey, Iowa?
Hey, wait, it's 10. Hey, would you do me an extra favor? With a cup with ice. Yeah. The doble reserva it's already open. Gotta join
Yeah,
out.
but he's been cool so far. He's been chilling with me with his
Yeah.
separation
Yeah.
anxiety,
Probably
Because as we
That
speak,
dog
he's
is
like
shit,
laying
bro.
in the office on the floor.
Bro, like I don't know if I've told the story in the podcast, but my sister, like this dog, right? When they got him, they are very attached to him, right? Like they take him everywhere. Like every night they go to my house, they bring Zeus. Everywhere they go, they use Zeus unless it's somewhere very picky or they just don't want to deal with his. But they try to bring Zeus everywhere, and they did that since he was a puppy. Zeus freaking has such bad separation anxiety that if they left the house without putting him in the cage, he starts to think that they forgot him, and he freaks out. He'll bark the 8 hours straight and like cry
Damn.
the 8 hours straight. Yeah, but they found out a trick. If they take Zeus and put him in his cage, they don't even have to close the door. Just put him in the cage and be like, "Go to your cage and stay there." And to do that before they walk out of the door, he knows that he was purposely left, and he chills.
Interesting.
Nice.
And my sister's here next to me. She told me he doesn't even have a cage anymore set up in the house. That the trick is now just literally telling him go to your bed, and that does the same effect. But if they don't do that before they leave, he'll fucking freak out for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because I left to Arthur's house for a bit, and he didn't freak out or anything because I told him to go to
No.
bed. Yeah, no,
Well,
I
the
told him to
thing
go to
is,
bed.
the thing is it's a schedule thing for him, right? And it's linked to your brother and my sister. So the fact that you're doing it, it makes it all different, right? Like it's that the fact that when they're here, they're always taking in places, and that if they walk out of the door without doing that to him, they think they forgot him. Well, if it's me and
So,
you or Miguel goes to let him out at the house, he's not gonna have that same school thought because he already knows when they're fucking long.
so what I did was like, I'll go to the kitchen, right to the fridge, and fridge is in that construction area, and I'll leave the zipper open so he sticks his head in just to make sure he can see me. Like he won't cross the construction area, but he just want to know where
Yeah.
I am.
What are you
At all
doing?
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to the
Yeah.
bathroom. He'll come right behind me. He see me. I'm going to the bathroom, and then come back and lay down in the same spot.
He every time I have him in my house, I'm taking care of him. He likes to follow me in the bathroom. He wants to fucking go
Yeah,
and take a shit with me. And I'm like, fucker, get out. Like, you're big, bro.
Trying
And
to
yeah,
he
he
get
likes
does
away
sitting
that.
from
at your
you.
feet. He likes sitting at your feet. He likes going and like being and touching you. If like you're sitting down somewhere, he'll go in front of you and like purposely lay right on top of your feet. Versus Nala, versus
Because
Nala, that is
he's
he'll
literally
sit
like
next.
right now laying on my chair. Like he's laying on the legs of
I
my
know.
chair.
I believe you. I know how he is. Damn. I love how I changed spots from the patio because that's where they were partying, right? And I was like, okay, let me get a little more quiet. And now they're all fucking coming to the tent and like, and it was just the fucking drain. And like, might have to make another
That is the
move.
cool spot, bro.
The tent is nice because it's got AC.
What
I
about your grandma
literally,
and grandpa? Are they gonna be inside the house?
yeah, those stairs inside the house. They have AC in there, but they don't turn on the AC in the big house until everybody starts to sleep because everybody's constantly working in and out. So if they were to turn it on, that would be a waste. Um, but yeah, they'll have AC, but like usually we just hang out in that patio area. But my uncle, smart as fuck, bro. He implemented us because it's a metal roof. Motherfucker implemented a sprinkler system to keep the roof cool during the day. And so
What?
you're
Damn.
sitting under the patio. You're sitting under the patio, and out of nowhere, it's like, is it raining? No, it's not raining. It's just literally the sprinkler that sits on the top of the house spinning, letting water constantly to help keep the roof cool and keep the area cooler. Smart as fuck. And it's
Where's
actually
the
not only
water
on the
coming
patio.
from? From the river?
I don't fucking know. Oh, it's from an irrigation well that they have here. So it's
Oh,
not consuming water. It's not actually fuck with their like bill or anything like that. And then it's not only on the patio. He actually has one on top of this tent. He has a sprinkler system on top of the tent. Keep it cool.
shit. Well, this is what I want to know. Where in the hell did he find that tent?
So his brother was part of the military, and he got the hookup. What can I say? They literally gave it to him. I
The tent,
remember
tent fell off the truck by accident.
the tent fell off the truck. Yeah, the tent fell off the back of the truck. I guess if you want to call it like that. I don't know. I feel like it's probably more of like this thing was old and they didn't have anywhere to put it because it's fucking huge. They were like, "Yo, we need to get someone to like, take this."
And
And
Dominican military army is like all of 13 people.
maybe 26, maybe 26. No, I mean
Like the tent is too
here,
big
man.
for us. We don't have that many people.
Yeah, literally. This is too much space. We need something more minimalist. No, like
But
it's
if you
weird, you
think
know.
about it, like if you have an island country, what the fuck do you need a military for? Like think about it.
I mean invasion, but other than that,
Well, let me rephrase it. If
Give me
you
a
have
second,
a
boys. I'm gonna switch Wi-Fi over this one. I think it's stronger.
if you have like an island country, that's not necessarily like because I mean the Dominican Republic does have resources, but they're like really not known for resources. So like, what are they gonna take? You know what I mean? Like sugarcane.
Well, Cuba already proves that doesn't work.
Well, no, Cuba is because fucking it's very close to us, right? So it's a strategic point for Russians to be there, right? So
There we go. Sorry, boys. I couldn't see you
yeah.
guys. My turning on, but I couldn't see you.
So the Cuba is a strategic point for Russians, right? Like to. But see,
What
here's
else?
the thing with Cuba. Here's the thing with Cuba. This second book that I'm reading, it's written by the same chick, right?
Hmm.
Um, and like in this book again, she talks about this one is about Epstein. This is the connections that
Whitney
Epstein
Webb
has
book.
had. Yes, Whitney Webb, the second one, like
Yeah.
volume two, and it's about the connections, and it's literally talking about how Cuba was literally used by every single nation, pretty much, to run drugs through and do some illegal activity shit. So yeah, it was like a Russian controlled territory. Yet United States, like people that wanted to go through there, like get their deals done, were doing it. You know what I mean?
I mean, the
So it's
mafia
just
was
like,
doing it. All the fucking celebrities were doing it. Everybody high in government was doing it. That was the place to go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So even though it was under control of Russia, there was a whole lot of shit that was going on in Cuba that was illegal to begin with, and it wasn't just Russians. You know what I mean?
All
But I
right,
was
well, that was back
saying
before we had intercontinental missiles, so like that was a very strategic point because they could launch there,
Yeah.
you guys you
and
talked about
that's
like
why American wanted influence there too.
you were talking
But that
earlier
didn't
like
work.
the
You know,
Dominican
like
military.
that's one of
Sorry,
the places that shit American influence hasn't worked, and it's strange to me because everywhere else we go, influence works, but that's one of the places it didn't. And I don't know what is because of the dictatorship that they had and the strong influences from top to bottom, or
It's
what.
because
I mean, I want
socialism is a bad word, and we call each other bad name, and one of them is socialist.
you're a socialist or you're a communist, right?
Yep.
Like the whole. No, I mean that was I don't know. Like learning that in history was kind of weird, right? Like learning how we basically went and helped Cuba uh, find its liberation from Spain at the time and all this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that happened, right? Like during the Cold War, and like anticipating that Cuba was going to be like part of our capitalist kingdom. You know what I mean? Uh, but at the end of the day, we liberated these guys, and then kind of innately gave them two choices, right? And told the leader, "Hey, you can be like this, or you can be like this." Motherfucker said that looks like a lot more benefits. So and it's one of the like I feel like imagine how different like the the view around like Cubans would be if that was different, right? Like if Cuba when it was liberated, took on capitalism, democracy, and
Look at
stuff like
this
that.
shit. I just pulled something up because I thought I saw something the other day, and I was like, "Well, that's interesting." So I pulled it up. Um, uh, so Citibank was a Supreme Court victory. Citibank won a Supreme Court victory today in a dispute growing out of Cuba's expropriation of 11 Citibank branches during the Cuban Revolution 23 years ago. Think about it.
The
Citibank is one of the largest banks in the world, yet they had branches in Cuba that was governed by Russians, basically.
That's scary.
Because they want money.
no, I'm not
That's
done, but you
that's what
guys
a
are
bank
making a lot of
needs.
noise. So. I was just watching
Yeah,
chat there, but
yeah,
go
whether
ahead.
they want money or not, you know what I mean? Like, because what I'm trying to say, like the shit that we're being fed is not the full truth.
But also, when America
I'm done.
influences money in Cuba,
Huh?
it's a lot easier to run it through city since there's established city in America and around the world.
Well, yeah, go grab your stuff and when you want
But
to
That's
go.
what
then the
I'm trying to
fact that
say.
the American
Uh,
government turns
uh,
back around
take
and
me
be
2 minutes
like,
to shower.
that's
I can do it.
bad, but doesn't
Come on,
blame
come with me
themselves, is funny.
for the stuff.
Stuff here.
Wait, say that again. I didn't hear.
So,
Sorry, boys.
like, the American government will be like, Citibank, shame on you, but won't stick
Ya lo
accountable for,
cerraron.
like, all the money and drugs that
Bañame,
run
bañado.
through Cuba
Mira,
for how many years?
bathroom is over there.
Yeah, but like
Oh,
think
but
about it.
yeah.
So if that's the way they're earning money, right? Like that's the way that there's a lot of money coming through and no one knows how it's happening.
Y
Right?
mis
That's already
rojos allá arriba.
established. They're like already paved the way, right? And you're out there earning money on your end, and this is how you're earning your money. How are they going to come out and say don't do it anymore? That's like effectively you're going to put a cap on your stream of income.
They encourage it too, so, like, you know,
This is what I'm trying to say. Like the whole system, the way it's set up, like you can go out there and scream this works, this doesn't work, and do this and do that. But the way the system is set up, like eventually, like there's only so much money out there. You know what I mean? And when you reach those levels,
I mean, there is almost so much, but then also the American government will print more, like, to bail out banks, do a bunch of shit. So, like,
yeah, but it's still like if I want to take a chunk of that, and this is the way to do it, like how am I gonna go and say tisk 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 and then shut him down? You can't do that because you effectively will cap off your stream of income. Now somebody
No.
else has
Hey,
to
boys.
go in and pave that
Yeah,
way.
you'll just pay someone else to
Hey,
do it.
boys, real quick. I will be back in 2 minutes. I need to take a quick shower.
All
Before
right.
they lock up the house. I will be back.
Okay.
All right, but yeah,
He's gonna take them rainwater showers. You know what I mean?
Let's get on top of the tent.
Turn off the camera. We don't want to see you naked.
Or maybe we do.
that's just for the premium content.
Yeah, you sign up to Patreon.
Later.
Sign up to Eddie's OnlyFans. But that's
Send
what
all
I'm
links
saying.
in the chat.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, you know, the whole system, the way it's set up, the way this money is being moved back and forth without somebody knowing that this money is being moved back and forth. Like, for you to knock that system down, then you're gonna have to build another system like that, because we all know no one wants to know. Like, even an average American doesn't want to know where their money is coming from. You know what I mean? Even though they're working, let's say, a McDonald's minimum wage job, they still don't want to know. They still don't want to advertise where their money is coming from. So, like, imagine getting to those levels where we're talking in billions.
I mean, predatory capitalism has kind of given us that cultural view, but like, you still have people like Theo Vaughn has a app idea that like gives you every like place you can consume and invest and just give them their political standings and what they invest into. And I think that would be a great idea. I think we should expand on that idea and also add our like representatives and put a breakdown on what bills they voted for and links to what those with like short nice breakdowns of what those bills were for so that people can actually see who they're voting and
So
what
cool.
they
Let's
vote
say,
for.
yeah, let's say you did that, right? Let's say you did that. How many Americans going to be okay with that infringement of privacy?
I mean, it's not really infringement of privacy. You're a public business.
Are you talking about not everyone? You're talking about just public persons.
Yeah, just like this is a company that I choose to spend my money at, whether it be McDonald's or some mom and pop shop, and if they choose to give politically or like
Yeah.
invest into things like that, that's already public. If it's
Now,
so much money worth of it.
no, here's the other question that I have. Think about it this way. So let's say if I know that system is present, but I don't want to know that I don't want other people to know that this is what I'm doing. What's stopping me from opening offshores and then that offshore opening another offshore and opening another offshore and that offshore is doing all that?
You don't even have to do that. You just have to donate to a super PAC, and you're completely anonymous.
Well, or doing that. So bottom line is they're
They
just
don't-
gonna do even more
we
shady shit.
we'd have to also change the laws of like political donations because that's basically become legal bribery now.
Well, yeah, I mean, political donations, yeah, but then there's also, oh well, he's a consultant. How are you gonna say they didn't consult? Like, he's a consultant on payment consultant fees. What's the difference? You know what I mean? Like, there's like, no matter what you come up with, there's another thing on the way that says, okay, well, okay, if you do this, this is gonna happen. And then when you completely eradicate that, do you really think they're not gonna come up with another way to break the system?
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the play of the game, right? Someone's trying to break it, someone's trying to fix it for everyone, right? It's just that
Yeah, but
political push.
it's kind of like, like it's kind of like fighting the viruses for computers, right? Like, that's the best way I can describe it. Antiviruses gets updated basically on a weekly basis because there's a new virus, new Trojan horse that can basically ruin your computer for you.
Well, yeah,
That's
hackers
never
just
going to
play
stop.
around the new up build, and then when they break the build, it goes around. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So, like, it's never going to stop. It's going to continuously progress.
that doesn't
So
mean that we
that's the
shouldn't progress.
no, I agree with you. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't progress. That's going to continuously happen, right? So effectively, what's going to happen? Like, I don't know how much of a correlation this has, but let's say in a biology, right? Like, when you take a virus and you give it antibiotics, majority of them die, but there's a small percentage that survives. And then you run them through UV filters. There's a small percentage that survives. So effectively, what you're going to build is you're going to build these people that are going to be so immune to everything that they're gonna be able to do whatever the hell they want, and no one will be able to stop them.
I mean, you always have people that learn how to game the system. I would concede with
The
you
government
there.
is always so ahead of that technology that it makes it hard not to kind of evade that.
It's
Would-
because they're the ones inventing it. Like
Exactly.
DARPA, the fucking defense contractors
Yep.
and shit like that. They're the ones doing think tanks and everything, trying to militarize everything, and when they can't, they make it public.
Yes, so this is what I'm trying to say. So you're gonna have like, you're still gonna have the same thing. Like you're gonna have that top 1% that's gonna continuously keep their money, but at this point they're gonna be a top 1% of steroids. Good luck then trying to get anything fast. So
Maybe,
I think I
maybe.
I think now you have a sort of a balance, right? It's an imbalanced balance. Like it's a shitty balance, but it is a balance.
I don't
You know what I
know.
mean? Like what I'm trying to say, we can't create a perfect system. Like no
No,
matter which, you know what I mean? Like so that's
but
so at the end of the
we
day,
can look towards the future instead of realizing that instead of realizing that documents in the past were at the time and continue to upgrade our system throughout time in the modern age.
yeah, but that's a lot of money, and people are gonna come in and say, "What are my tax dollars going to? I don't want to pay for another upgrade of your computers." You know,
And that
this is
would be
gonna happen.
great to have like a website that just gives you where your tax dollars are going, you know?
Yeah, and then yes, I agree. And then you're gonna come up and you're gonna say, "Wait a minute, my tax dollars are going to this. I don't support this." You know what
Because
I mean? Because
a lot of people don't realize that they're thinking about tax every time they get their check, right? They're not thinking about tax during
Shit, I'm
tax
thinking
time.
about paying my bills.
I mean, right? So like they got more things to worry about, but this is the reason I don't have this amount of more. But that little or nah, it's not. It's a lot. It's going to your roads. It's going to your local shit, right? But
well, like
they equate that to all the federal shit. Which yes, I'm not saying it's not all going to the state. It is. There's a split, but taxes looked upon federally and forgot about local a lot.
so this is what I want to say. Like, before I was all against like, paying taxes for like people that are like poor and they can't work and this and that, like the government assistance, right? Like the government cheese, right? Oh, by the way, guys, I'm sure you know why is it called government cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amiga, do you know why it's called the government cheese?
No.
All right, I
Well,
don't want to
because
fuck up
they
the story.
because
Go
they
ahead,
I
Alex.
think you've actually gone over this before. Never mind. It's because they give
Yeah.
it's like rats. You kind of bait them in and you kind of keep them in
No,
the.
no, 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 no. It's because they had so much fucking cheese. They overproduced cheese and they were keeping that shit in like bunkers and shit. And they're like, well,
Ah,
let's
yeah. You
just
also you
and,
also did
yeah,
say
and let's
something
just
like that.
hand
Yeah.
out cheese. That's why it's government cheese, right? Like the dry. Now, what I'm trying to say, like before I was against that, but now, like if you think about it, okay, well, what happens when people don't have money?
They starve.
Majority of the time, they starve. But what
Yeah.
happens before they starve?
They
Like the crime
get.
level usually goes up, right? Like because stealing, cheating, and things like that happen because people are hungry. Can you blame them for that? No. If I didn't have money, guess what I would be doing?
Yeah.
You
You
know
got
what
to
I
do
mean?
what you got to do.
Crime is out of necessity. Most
Exactly.
times.
So
Most time.
most times. So and most of the time, the crime is like a crime of opportunity. It's not
Yeah.
like a premeditated shit. It's just all crime of opportunity. So in my head, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give a little bit of my money, but then that's gonna keep some people kind of, fed, which is good for them. They're not dying, they're fed, and at the same time, crime level is low. Makes sense. Two plus two is two. Now, would I rather put that money to something else? I wish they worked and did their own thing. Like, I also understand that's not going to happen, right? Like, not everyone is meant to earn a lot of money, and not everyone is meant to get out of the poverty.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the
But
situation. There's always a small percentage going to be there.
our system also has it set up where, I can get $1,000 a month untaxed, be able to feed my family and have money, or go get a job, get maybe 800 after tax, not have enough
Correct.
to, so like our system
Yes.
kind of feeds on wanting to get people stuck in that rut.
Yes, I mean it is what it is. The bottom line, you're still gonna have those people. Even if the system was perfect, you also always gonna have your haves and have-nots, no
I
matter
mean,
how
I
make
will
how
give you
perfect you make
that
the
there
system.
are people out there that don't want to do anything and want the
Yes,
government to just give them money.
and that's a very small percentage of people. Like
Right,
it's a negligible percentage of people. So you're still gonna have them, right? So
right.
bottom line is like you can't eradicate that. Okay, well, what can we do? Like, okay, well, you're implementing government programs that are gonna assist and help. Well, no, that shit don't work. You know what I mean? Um, Majority of the time, people
In
are
the way
running
that
money through those.
America does it, it doesn't work. I would agree
Yeah,
with
well,
that.
the way money is being ran through it, like an interesting. I was watching this podcast. This was about England. It wasn't about um United States, but this guy was basically being accused by his ex partner of being abusive or whatever, even though like the situation was completely opposite. And this guy ended up spending $40,000 or £40,000 to be able to see his kids, almost 50%. And many times over in a courtroom, they showed that the girl lied. Like everything pretty much he said was a lie. And then judges were pretty much like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Right. So, what I'm trying to say, the system is set up in a way they're like, okay, well, this is going to happen whether you want it or no.
I mean, human influence, like, what's it? The dude that, like, his wife kept recording his abuse, trying to, like, scream at his kids, would call his kids stupid, like, even worse than that.
Yeah,
And she had cancer, but he had political ties. So he got custody, he had the money, and I mean, it sadly ended up with her suicide, but like the courts were just people that either were in his pocket or his friend, and he just got away with it all.
yeah, and this was the complete opposite, right? Like this was where they had text messages of her and her friend talking like, "I wish he would have hit me. This case would have been much easier."
Right? People are just
Type of
shitty
deal.
sometimes.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, like in England, the reason I brought this up because England, fairly, if you look at the whole system, England is set up a little bit more in a way of where they're helping their own citizens a little more because then you have these council houses and things like that
They've
they're
started
paying for.
defunding recently, but yeah, they
Yeah,
they
they start
are they
defunding
are
recently.
a lot more to the left than we are.
Yes. So, and the system is being abused to the nth degree, right? And that's England, right? Not, but then you look at Norway and Switzerland and all of these other places, not Switzerland, but Norway, Sweden, the Scandinavian countries, which are basically the most egalitarian countries, and they pay upwards of what, 34, 40% of their money into taxes, right?
And they don't give a fuck about it. They're just like, yeah, that's my tax.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
well, I love paying taxes, things like that.
because
Yeah,
because they actually get to see the return in their investment. You know,
yeah.
that's the thing.
So,
Like, I don't like. Yes, they are. England does lean a little bit more left. Like, they still have their very like conservative parties. Like, not borderline fascist like we do, but like even those parties kind of have their even smaller populations that grew to power here recently too. Like Boris, what's his name?
Boris's
Like,
stuff, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he came from a very conservative party. They haven't been able to hold a prime minister for. I mean, the latest dude's been around for a bit, but like one lasted less time than it took a head of lettuce to uh, rot. That was left out. Like, I don't know. They're not after Brexit. It's been a little crazy in the UK.
Yes, and then you have the Brexit in UK, but then you're looking at Scandinavian countries where they have these, programs for the prisoners to re-educate them, put them back into society, this and that, and the third. But then a lot of people don't talk about how they have the largest national commonwealth in the world because of their oil. You know what I mean? So it's like we're comparing like oranges to apples, and they're saying we can do the same thing. Like, can we though? You know what I mean? Can we
I
really do
mean,
the same thing?
we
Less
kind of can.
population.
We got a lot of fucking like billion-dollar companies in this countries
Yeah,
would
but
have to
even
pay
if
a
those
liquid
billion,
tax.
let's say this, even if the top 1% paid everything they earn into taxes, everything they earn, it still would not be enough.
I mean, it would be if applied to properly, but that's the problem with the American government. They don't want to apply it properly. They want to put it into defense, and
Yeah.
that doesn't help the American people.
Well, yeah, but then again, if you don't put it in defense, you know you have Russia and China, the one world domination. India is on the fucking rise. Like
We could
it's
cut our defense by half and still be blowing everyone else in the world's defense budget like out of the water.
yeah, could
Like
be.
the
I don't
only
know.
reason we blow so much money into the defense is one, the Pentagon is really good at washing money and like making
Well,
things
yeah, they just lost
disappear.
$6 billion, right?
Like, yeah. So, lost. It's legal corruption. Like, defense contractors get paid God's amount of money compared to what they produce, like, and
Yeah,
what it costs to produce. But
because there's always a
unfortunately, that's
kickback.
America.
But
And
there's always a kickback, right?
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, kickback
And
in
with
multiple ways.
the internet being globalized and all this information coming out more and more people and more countries are joining the same system. You know what I mean? Like
Like,
it's like you want to fight something that's infightable. Like literally, you can't fight that.
they know that perpetual war is perpetual money for them. So, like, you got to
Yes,
build these bombs to get someone to use them. Even if it's
yeah,
not you, someone will. Syria will bomb Yemen like no other with our bombs.
exactly. That's
And
the
we
whole
got their
point.
oil.
That's the whole point. You know, like the whole idea of like the way the towers when they collapsed, we went for WMDs. WMDs nowhere to be found.
You're connecting two different wars. So that WMDs was the Iraq War,
Iraq
and
War after.
yeah, that was Baby Bush's trying to clean up Daddy's mess from back when he was president.
Yeah, but
But
then it was
yeah,
kind of like Afghanistan, and then we kind of went into the
yeah,
Iraq. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it was just kind of like a spillover.
They use the vague veil of terrorism and harboring terrorists to kind
Yes,
of go clean up and get some scores. When they're the
that's
reason Saddam's there in the first place. They're the reason
well,
fucking Osama bin Laden was popular in the first place.
that's what I'm saying. Most of these despots that are in place in any country is because we put them there.
Yeah, a lot.
Because they had the influence and opposition, and they're like, instead of building new influence and opposition, let's get this person to do what we can do in 30 years. He can do it in two,
And we'll say it's for democracy.
and we'll say this for democracy. So,
Right.
and then and then when push comes to shove, when they say something, we're just gonna go carpet bomb everyone.
Yeah. If we have to pull out, we'll pull out dirty. Like,
So the bottom line is they're making money on that end. But the thing, what I'm
I
trying to
left your
say,
thingy up
as far as people that we live in the United States, we do live a pretty decent life. Even though we're doing all this fucked up shit, our government is doing all this fucked up shit. We do live a
I'm
pretty
not
decent
listening to
life
what you're saying, huh?
in
That's true.
comparison.
I mean, compared to some
I'm
people
going.
have
I'm going
a
out.
lot worse. Some people in America, a lot of people in America, unfortunately, don't even have a roof over their head, or don't know when their meal's coming next. But like, I guess they don't have to worry about getting decapitated or something like that on a daily basis. Sure, I'll give you that.
At the end of the day, I'd rather live in a country that's gonna police the world than live in a country that's gonna be policed.
I mean,
Hey,
it
can I
Because
is.
now,
get a quick background? I just got back. Can I get a quick background on what we're talking about here, just so I can maybe give my two
I don't
cents?
think we, I
Something
don't think we
about
left the
countries and
subject.
war.
It was
I don't
kind
think we
of.
left the subject. We are talking about that
Well, I don't.
Wendy
I'm a
Rose book,
little.
and then just kind of spilled over into this.
Yeah,
Well,
kind
I
of
wasn't there. Yeah, exactly. I left right when you guys talking about Whitney.
U.S. government interference with countries and how it affects America is kind of the summary of what we were talking about.
Okay, give me 1 second, and I'll be able to answer.
But yeah, like if there's a buck to be made or a boot to put on a throat, I agree with you. America will be there because we put ourselves there.
Because there is money in it.
We
because
invested a
there's
lot of
money.
fucking money in that. That's the thing. There's money to be passed around in it.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say, because this is what happened back in the days, they would go out there and fucking kill a deer, and the whole village would eat, right? And like whoever was the biggest guy to kill the deer was the guy. And then they're like, well, shit, we're running out of deer. We need to go and take this territory from this other tribe to have more deer, right? So that proverbial deer and land became the money. So nothing really has changed. The modus operandi hasn't changed. What has changed is the actual product.
Well, I mean, currency came from society and mass population. You know,
Well, yeah,
because we
at first it
had
was like
the
IOU notes and
I mean,
to store your
yeah.
grain and things like
that
that, and
type of
then that
stuff is
turned
still
into
going on today in tribes. Tribes, their currency is animals, pigs, cows, because they don't have any use
Services
for
too.
like actual money.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when you get into the point where like the money doesn't have value for you because like what the fuck am I gonna do with this piece of paper? Then you start trying like let's say if there was a nuclear strike here and like we didn't have the banking system and shit like that, it would be like all
Fuck
right,
your
so
money.
you got
Yo,
you
if
got
there's a
cans of
nuclear
peaches,
strike,
I'll trade you.
hopefully it takes me out. I ain't trying to survive a nuclear holocaust.
Can you
Like,
imagine?
it might be
You
fun on
ima-
the video game, but fuck that shit.
Fallout is
but you
fun, not
imagine
in
like
real life.
most people are gonna develop like really health concerns and things like that, and there's always gonna be that one guy that's gonna grow his penis by like 4 inches. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be the
Man grows
fallout for
four
that
inches
one
after
guy.
nuclear fallout.
It'll it'll be like that movie This Is the End when Channing Tatum's humping Danny McBride's leg.
So I don't know, man. I don't even know if that new like if that ever happened and if this was like that type of a scenario. You think now it's bad? Like then it's gonna be complete anarchy. There's gonna be factions of people that are just like raiding, pillaging, raping, stealing, killing.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
chaos.
little.
It's gonna be a breakdown of
It's gonna be
society.
Walking Dead. Little League is gonna be Walking Dead.
I mean, I'm a little lucky because I live really close to where they like created the nuclear bombs in Oak Ridge. But
Oh, so you're saying you'd go first?
it's always been marked as one of the potential nuke spots since the Cold War. Like it's all these major cities and then Oak Ridge because of Y12.
I think, bro. I think it's just a white veil. They're just saying that to keep.
It could be Cold War scare. I'd
Yeah,
agree to
you know
that.
what I mean? Because like they're like, well, if you think about it as a country, if you know everyone knows that that's like a strategic spot, are you still gonna keep your shit there? No, it's probably been moved by
Well,
now.
it's a giant energy plant, like radioactive energy plant. So that would be
Are you
essentially
talking
a
about like?
strike point. Yeah,
Are you talking about like nuclear factory?
yeah.
And
Like
I think that's the
like
biggest.
government talks top secret type of place.
Well, that's probably one of the reasons why we haven't really switched to nuclear
That was
power, which is
the
much cleaner
that
and
was that
stuff like
one
that.
place that they made a whole entire town, had people move over to the town so they could work on the nuclear project.
I don't
Oh
know, man.
yes.
You gotta look up.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm officially back. Sorry for the delay there. I know I said I was officially back 10 minutes ago, but I had to move some stuff around. The girls sent me to do some stuff. So talk about nuclear stuff, huh? Here,
Yeah,
nuclear
like
power and war.
yeah, how like nuclear war would not help anyone, and at that point, it's like just keep stocking up on pew pew, and then once you have that, just
Yeah, and troopers.
kind of like hide from drones, basically.
Toilet paper.
Do you
Let's
guys
Yeah,
think
you'd be a god in the apocalypse
do you
if you
guys
had
think
toilet paper.
aliens are gay?
I'm sure there are some.
Aliens are gay. I'm sure if they're doing intergalactic travel.
I think your intergalactic travel just stopped your internet. They don't want you. They don't want you to talk. You had the right idea.
Hello,
The
Yeah,
aliens blocked your signal, bro.
He's just
yeah.
jamming
hello.
his
They're like
shit.
he's
Oh,
saying
I'm saying if they
he's
have,
talking. He just
You're
if
revealed
they,
getting
everything
close to
about
the
us.
truth.
I think that they're probably beyond the thought of just binary. Who knows? Maybe they have more than just one sex. Who knows?
Right? Or if they
Or
like
it could be just one sex that reproduces. There's no others. You know what
What
I
if
mean?
Oh,
like
like
advance to
what is
not
it?
even reproducing? What if they just have their own little pods that like incubates and everything with no
Incubator pods.
replacement? Yeah.
There's no question about like Roe v. They don't have problems like Roe v. Wade. It's just like I
Shit.
pay for my pod, give me a
Yeah.
baby.
Well, yeah, I like that idea that they're like seahorses. Yeah, yeah. Damn, what do you think you would work as if I think if you were on this one of these planets and with all this technology? What do you think your purpose would be? Because there's so much shit already done. I mean, I'm sure they have the majority of stuff automated. What's gonna be like? You know what I mean? Like, what are the purpose of these creatures? You know what I mean? Like, we're still trying to figure out how to not blow each other up, right?
Well,
These
look,
guys
you
are
got to think
traveling
about it.
intergalactically.
So you got to think about it. They're so advanced that they're traveling intergalactically, right? So that like that, just by basically thinking about it, your genetic pool will get rid of all the non-intelligent ones, so the intelligent ones will continually still progressing. So at that level, like you still need these intelligent beings to control whatever it's going on and invent more. So it would be the same grind. It's just they would be like 10 times smarter. Like there would be just a bunch of Spocks running around everywhere.
So you guys know how we're supposed to
I
basically
get
just
what.
disappear in 5 billion years because of the explosion of the sun?
5 billion years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
How
five
many
You know,
generations
billion
the
that
years.
is?
How
chance
long?
the chance of
We
us
might.
going extinct ourselves is much higher.
Yes. Yes. We will not
Yeah, I was
make it
about to
that
say
long.
we're
I
probably
honestly
gonna
don't
kill
think we're gonna
ourselves.
last very long.
I,
I mean,
you know what? I don't
I
know,
don't know.
man. I think humans are worse than cockroaches. Because cockroaches can survive a nuclear holocaust, and I think we're worse than
Yes.
cockroaches, bro.
I can feel
They
that.
would survive anything.
The only problem is we're cooking the earth, and we're getting rid of the one thing that we need a lot of, water. Like it does reproduce, but it reproduces less and less, and it's reproducing less and less, and like not like acid rain and shit like that. So like if we do hit those projected things where we actually do cook our earth where it's too uninhabitable, we'll die off from that long before a solar flare comes and explodes the
Billion
earth.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
five
but
five
that
billion years is
whole
a little too long. I think we'll fuck ourselves before 5 billion years.
Or someone just presses the button and everyone lives the nuclear holocaust.
like before that shit happened, I don't think it's gonna happen within our generation or our kids' generation or their generation. I think it's just what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a nuclear wasteland, or like the air quality is gonna be shit. People that couldn't survive that genetically will die off, and the ones that are just gonna get adapted and survive that, kind of like bacteria. You know what I mean? Like the microorganisms. Like
Yeah.
it's just gonna be. It's not gonna be an immediate thing. It's gonna be
It's like the
slowly weeding out the weak. Nature will do its
it's like
course
the
slowly without
ideology.
bleed.
I like it. It reminds me of the ideology of how like we might our one planet, like breaking it down to just as far as like bees, right? And then talk about like that's an organism, right? Like that hive itself is an
Yeah,
organism, and you can look at
for sure.
each bee as a cell, and then we're the same thing to the Earth, and then maybe the Earth is the same thing to something else, right? So it could just be like this infinite, like basically grouping of organisms that just gets bigger and bigger, which like they've proven the 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 infinite the universe is still growing infinitely. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't
Yeah.
stopped.
Ever expanding.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
It's
like
hard
if
to
that's
Hey,
the
picture
wait, wait.
that.
case and our
You you
planet,
you asked
our planet
Miggy
or our
asked
universe
earlier. Miggy asked
is
earlier if there are any coquis or anything like that. I hear a frog right now that sounds like a woman going. Like it's pretty crazy. Yeah, the amount of noises like right now. There's a bunch of fucking what are they
the
called?
the the frogs in
Not
the
grasshoppers, the
frog
crickets.
the frogs out there in DR probably go que lo que, que lo que, que lo que.
Dime a ver, manito. Quirk, quirk. Yeah, they're
maldito.
players out here. They're all part of the scheme.
Think about it
No,
this way now. What if our universe is like the tip of somebody's dirty phallus? You know what I mean? If this is this big gigantic organism and we just like the tip where everything comes out of.
with the tip of the dick.
Yeah.
I mean,
uh,
we could be someone's atom powering their cell in a higher fucking like
Yeah.
speed. We just don't fucking know.
Fuck
And
I
that
that
like.
solar
I
guy.
flare
always.
is the laser when the doctors enter the laser and then just destroy the cancer cell. You know, that's what that is.
I'm curious
Oh, they
on what they're
actually
gonna.
just released I think it was a 90% success rate for the cancer, a type of cancer, hematological cancer.
The blood cancer?
I guess.
Hematology is blood. It's something to do with blood.
So yeah, and it had a 90%
But
success
cancer
rate.
is going to be cured. In my opinion, cancer is going to be cured
Yeah,
within the next,
just like
even if they don't
uh,
have
Well,
the cure right now, in the next 10 years, which I think they do have
I,
the
be,
cure.
I
It's
believe
just
they have
There's
it.
a
beneficial not
lot.
to have it. Yeah, just make a lot of money off of it. So
They make a
I think they
lot of
definitely have
and
it.
money.
population
I,
control.
I think
yeah, I
they.
mean,
I think they definitely have it. But I mean, in a way, also, maybe they're it's another way to try and like keep weeding out those weak, like that weak DNA. Because I mean, you take cancer at its root, and what is it? It's DNA that is no longer going off of its
yeah, it's mutated.
base programming, right? Exactly, it's mutated. That's the word I'm looking for. It's mutated, right? So now
It's overproducing. That's what
there
it
you
is.
go. It starts to produce way too
Yeah.
much, causing these tumors, right? Um, we were talking about curing cancer, right? Like I remember when I was in high school, we studied this phenomenon that happened. So basically, like they were they figured out how to cure cancer in rats. They can do that shit, right? And something about how the rat's DNA is like 98% similar to ours, right? Apparently, they got some kid that
Well, banana
was
is fucking similar to us, 98%.
I get it, right? And so is what is the other one? A pig, right? Pig like
Hmm.
99 or shit like that. I get it. But it's a big percentage, right? Like I get 2% of figuring out DNA isn't as small as it sounds, right? I get it. But for them to say that they can do this on a rat, right? And then they apparently did it the same treatment on some like 18-year-old, 17-year-old, like chronically ill. Like the kid was stage 3, stage 4, like knew he was gonna die, and apparently he died in the process. So they completely shut everything down, right?
Mm.
To me, it sounds just like a good way to say, "Hey, we tried and move on. We can't do it no more. You guys still gotta pay." Like, right? Like
So,
it was a very like bullshit attempt, right? Like they actually figured it out, and then when it went to applying it to humans, they were just like, let's just try once. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, let's not move on."
There was also this
so
one
like, think about it.
university that had about $1 million worth of research. Took about 20 years. That got basically corrupted because this janitor came in and there were these alarms or like a beeping sound that was going on because it was temperature controlled the samples. So the guy just turned off the fridge and the cells died. When they came over the next
Damn.
day, they were like, "We're
Yeah,
fucked.
okay.
Everything's gone."
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, okay. Janitor turned the fridge off, huh?
Right? Janitor
This
turned the fridge
janitor
off.
wasn't told from the beginning that you cannot access this lab. Come on, man.
Or you don't touch
So the
equipment. Like,
janitor is
why
Yeah,
would
not
they
don't
being
have
touch
to?
shit.
so the janitor is not being sued, but the company of the janitor who hired him is being sued for not teaching him proper procedures and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. But see, the thing is, I think it's 1 milliliter or
Cover up.
microliter of chemotherapy drugs is $100,000. Well, it was $100,000 10 years ago, so it's more now probably.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. 1 microliter, if it's micro, I don't know, but if it's 1 milliliter,
What
how
do you
many of
like?
those people need?
I saw Tristan Tate this clip probably about 6, 8 months ago, right when they were blowing up. Tristan was talking about how he was like, "You guys don't know like how the rich actually goes and get their cancer treated. It's not like the same thing as the poor where
No,
they
it's
just go and get chemo." He's saying like they take a biopsy of the like a biopsy sample of the actual tumor itself and recreate it and then like basically experiment with all different kinds of chemo to see which one works best for that
yes.
specific tumor or whatever.
Experiment it
And then give
without
you that
it
one.
being in you. That's the thing, because like when you're
That yeah.
poor, you're the petri dish,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
here's a
let's
petri
try
dish. Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get what
Well,
you're
I
saying.
mean, think about it, like the cost of that, right? Like again, is going back to the whole idea of changing the system. Like along the line, how many people are making money? You're gonna
I
come
mean,
in and say this is what's gonna
Yep.
happen?
Right?
Are you
That's a
Yep.
kidding
big
Yep.
me?
part.
You're
That is
gonna
the
get
case.
Like
assassinated the next day. Literally,
the
they'll like take you out.
the only thing we've heard about is lower the price of insulin. And don't get me wrong, we needed to lower the price of insulin. These people are dying. These people are using half doses or trying like paying exorbitant money. But like, what about cancer? What about like ADHD medicine? What about like, because like people can't find their Adderall now, and cancer patients are paying out the ass, losing their home, but no one's like fighting that, right? But everyone's looking and like. Even on the Democratic side, they'll be like, "Oh, yay, insulin's down." But yeah, but what about the entire pharmaceutical? Like,
Right. You guys are talking about one specific drug, like literally
right?
one,
Like,
versus
don't get
like
me wrong.
like the thousands, right?
Yeah,
And
clap,
what was
clap,
like?
good for you, but let's get more.
Right.
So
Right. Like this
think
one
about it
thing
this
is not
way.
enough.
What was that kid's name that got? I think he bought the HIV medicine and then priced it at like outrageous prices. I think it was HIV medicine, and they sued him. They said it's not ethical. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm the only one that has the medicine. I get to price whatever I want. That's what the pharmaceutical company's been doing it since day one. And you suing me? They're like, yep, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
You know what I
and I
mean?
bet
Yeah.
And
after
they sued
that
him,
they
and he
were
went to
like, "Oh
jail.
shit, we can make people pay this much for it, and then raise their prices after."
I remember there was this guy on Joe Rogan that he was the as a doctor or head of some kind of pharmaceutical company. He was talking about a specific drug about this very, 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 very rare disease or condition. I don't even really remember what it was. This clip is very, very old. I don't remember a lot of the details. But basically, the guy was trying to say like, we're selling it at like $900. We could sell it at 12. He was like saying this, right? Like some shit like that, right? It
Yeah.
was abnormal. My figures are probably all over the place, but something like that, right? Like hundreds, close to $1,000 versus he can charge like 20 to 30 bucks for this thing, right? But then he went on to talk about how apparently he said that if someone can't pay that he would give them the medicine. And I don't understand where that came from, because it's kind of just like that doesn't make any sense. You're trying to like cover yourself up, but you know that's not true.
I don't know,
I
but I
don't know.
can tell you this. So one of the classes, one of the teachers brought in, and it was the social governance class, and he brought one of his investor friends. This was an older dude, obviously had money, and he's been involved all his life in buying companies basically that are doing bad and making them better, right? And one of the cases that he talked about was the car
What?
companies that had parts, right? Yeah, we saw it. So car company that had
It's a great
parts, right?
cigar.
Yeah, great cigar.
Yeah,
And
found
they're
a
selling
cigar.
parts, right? So when they bought this and then went in and they're like, okay, well, you're selling parts, but you're not doing good. And then they looked in a warehouse next door and they're like, you have all these parts from these old ass cars that are no longer in production. They're like, yep. He goes, all right, bump the price up and start selling them. And that's what they did. They bumped the price up like insanely and started selling. And I think like 30 or 40% of their income was coming in by selling these no longer production parts for all these old school cars. And people were paying to buy them because if you have an old school car, you want to make it nice. This is what you got to do.
Yeah, this reminds
So
me
the
of when
bottom line,
Nissan started manufacturing RB26 parts in like 2020, when the engine is like 40 years old, because
yeah.
they
So,
knew people were gonna keep buying it, and they would rather an OEM product from Nissan for this badass motor than going other places.
but the point here is like if you're a pharmaceutical company, if it's a known practice in an industry, if you're a pharmaceutical company, you're the only one that produces that type of medicine, and no one else has the monopoly on it.
Yeah,
Are you kidding
Oh,
me? What are they gonna do?
there's a I think it's a diabetes medicine that also has the effect of letting you lose weight because it lowers your blood
Ozempic.
sugar.
Ozempic,
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Ozempic.
Yes, that company was fucking valued at I don't even know how much. Like most highest company like valued on the market. Like
My-
but the caveat is if you want to stay skinny, you got to use it for the rest of
Like
your life.
use it. Yes.
And that's the thing that got them there, right? That fucked up like we have to get you absolutely addicted to this to be so valuable. It's just like opioids, right? They knew the issues. They knew the clinical trials said that it was very addictive. and highly deadly. But they were like, but that also
Well, that's
gets
not
us
the
repeat
Ozempic.
customers.
Then that means
We're
that's not
talking.
Ozempic because Ozempic is right now being sold. Like that's the number one thing that
Yeah, I
technically
mean,
might be a
I know,
derivative of
I know
what
a
they
bunch of
did.
people who are taking it.
Yeah, a bunch of people take it. It's still a legal drug, but like the reason
Ah,
it's
okay.
so high is because you need to use it. If you're not using it, well, obviously you need to use it for diabetes.
It's
If you
a
have diabetes,
premium service. It's a
yeah,
subscription service
yeah.
basically.
But if you're using it as a dietary supplement or like lack of, I don't know, exercise or whatever, you just want to use it, you make yourself skinny, you're hooked, and you got to keep coming back for whatever price they want to give you.
And why
And
is
they
it that it
also
makes
did
you
the
skinny again?
research.
I saw
Blocks
Huberman was
blocks
talking
your
about how it's
insulin
gonna be hard to
production
get.
basically. You don't want to eat. That's how it works.
No.
So it's the very, very
Huberman was
bad
saying
way
that it
of
was gonna be
describing how it does, but
hard to
basically
get
that's
as what was it? As hard to get as Viagra, like to get it prescribed to you eventually.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what Huberman was saying on Joe Rogan. Or was he saying that it was gonna be hard to get prescribed, or that it was gonna be hard to get because of the amount of people that are gonna try and get it? Just like the demand.
I don't know. Every other ad I have
yeah. You
on
know why?
shit
Because
is that blue
most of the
shit.
girls are demanding now 3-4 rounds, and each round hour and a half long.
No.
So how the fuck do you last that? You can't.
She
Like it's
has a
physically
little helpful
impossible.
friend. You have a little helpful friend, and then it's a fun night. You know.
Listen,
Hey, bro, you know
it's
what
been
you do?
hour
You
and a
know what you
half.
do?
I'm going to sleep. You ain't getting round two. Sorry.
You know what you do? You just
You
bring out
you
the
do whatever you gotta do there on your own. Like looking at the
you gotta
wall.
bring
I'm
out
done.
you gotta bring out the and then that'll help you break that hour and a half down to a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it literally desensitizes, and like that
No,
actually
but
will fuck them even
this
more.
is something this is something you have to use periodically, and it's something you have to introduce and then take away. So you gotta be able to use it and then take it away and not use it for months and then bring it in.
Or just use it as stamina training for you.
Yeah,
Nah, man, I'm
it gives
sorry.
you the breaks.
Stamina training. Listen, I got the stamina. I can go 2 hours. Thank God to jujitsu. But listen, there's a point where I'm
You're a
like,
cinder block
I'm
on
done,
the
bro. Like,
mat. You're a cinder block on the mat and in the bed.
yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm at this point, I'm done. Like, I'm going to sleep. I'm sorry. Like, this is getting boring at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm over this shit.
It's the
What
work.
time is it, boys?
You gotta put
It
in the work.
is 11. Nice.
Yeah, but see, like, that's the whole thing. Like, why put in the work? What's the point of that? You know? Why?
You gotta make them
Here's a
happy.
joke. Here's a joke. How long does it take for a girl to finish?
I don't know. I never cared.
As
Exactly.
long as
Who
the guy
cares?
does.
Cancel.
I don't know. Never. I've heard that many ways. I don't know. Who cares? I don't know. Never asked. Never thought to ask. I don't know. I've heard a lot. The weird part is I don't know. Like I feel like we're gonna go into this sex conversation, right? But part of that
Yeah,
shit
that's what
is
people
really
want to hear
I like where
anyway.
you're going.
right.
That's what people want to hear
Mickey,
anyway. They
bring out
don't
the
care about
notebook.
the pharmaceutical
So
companies.
look, I feel like, damn, you guys fucked my shit up. Like
Is
that
it
shit has
us or the cigar? Which one is it?
the both back and forth. You know what I mean? Like they have to want that. They have
And the
to
soup.
have that want to please the other person. I've seen a lot of relationships that are not like that, and heard of girls being like, yeah, like I don't know what an orgasm is. I'm like, damn.
Past 1 hour and a half, you on your own. I don't give a shit at this point. An hour and a half is the most you're getting.
Do you don't have
No,
an orgasm?
if
Do you not
It's
have a
my hard
dildo?
cutoff.
Oh, you don't have a dildo? How about a Theragun?
so, if they're going after an hour and a half, bro, what do you want? A fucking bat?
No, I
I'm
can
good.
do this.
I'm good. Not my problem. Like that if it's gotta go out, it's gotta go longer than that. I'm going into the who cares situation. Cause I'm tired, bro. Fuck
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, no, I'm not
What is
tired.
it?
I'm
What
like,
is this
it's not the
sleep?
sometimes
tired.
it's a
I'm
It's
like, how
puzzle,
many
getting bored.
calories?
sometimes
Bro.
it's checkers, sometimes it's chess. And sometimes
Sometimes
it's
Bro,
it's
that's
checkers.
so
theoretical
true.
fucking physics.
Bro, sometimes you can just go in there and act like fucking Carrot Top and get it done. Other times you act like Neil deGrasse Tyson and the bitch still don't want to go.
Yep. It's
You're
all about how
absolutely
they
right.
feel at that moment. That's what it
You're
is. It's just
absolutely
what
right.
they're thinking about.
It sometimes
They might have
sometimes
might have had a
2+2.
fight at work, and this is gonna ruin the whole fucking situation
You
for you.
might have forgot to do PEMDAS.
No, yeah,
No,
like
bro, I'm telling you, it's all so fucking psychological for them. That it's just like at one point, like, well, if this is what I'm saying. Back to the same conversation of politics. If that's what it is, hey, sorry, who cares? You know, you just do you.
Nah.
Why
I'm
even
not
worry
putting
about it?
I'm not putting the rules of politics in my situation, in my relationship. Fuck that. Fuck that. We're gonna
Bruh.
end up like Donnie and Biden on each side. Fuck that.
No, I
Indicted,
guess
Everybody
not
should
true
be
indicted,
because
indicted, and
the
impeached.
wall. The wall.
no. See,
Yeah, they're
that's
stuttering.
not true.
Impeached multiple times.
That's not true. I think as a guy, you need to understand girls though. Like you really need to understand them to attract them. Like there's no other way around it. Like you have to actually empathize with their fucking issues, not sympathize, but empathize in order to be able to get something done. Where they don't have to. They don't care about empathizing with.
I think that's the hardest part for a guy because guys are taught to be just fucking emotionless. Just
Yeah.
What are you
It's hard.
talking? No,
It's hard.
man.
It's
This,
hard to empathize if you
Yeah.
can't feel. You know, you have to feel. You have to put yourself
no,
in their
it's not.
shoes, feel
You
their emotions, see their side.
you have to put
No, so
yourself.
that
You have to put as a guy. You have to put yourself out there more.
no. See, I don't think this has got to do anything with emotions. We got to think about it. So let's say she had a fight at work, right? She's coming in and she's pissed off. And what do you need to? All you need to know is all you have to do is listen, right? Yes, no, not even respond. Don't give him any kind of solutions. Nothing. You don't even need to understand what happened. Just listen. But you know that's going to get you where you need to go. So what I'm trying to say is empathize in the sense that like you understand what they're going through, and this is like a stressful situation for her, and you just fucking don't really do anything about it. But you pretend that you are, and it works.
Shame on you, Jay. Shame on you.
Yeah,
Shame on
because
you.
Sometimes that's
That
all
doesn't
they
sound
need
right.
is someone
that's
to
what I'm
vent
saying.
to,
Sometimes that's
Yeah, they
which
don't.
is
But
the
that's not
good
what you should be
side.
doing.
But when you're using it to get something else, that's different.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like a lot of the guys will put their tool belt on. Well, you should have done this. You should have said this, and then that makes the situation
That's
even
where you're
worse.
fucked up. Yeah, right. Well, I've noticed if you come like, hey, yo, is this something you want me to fix? Is this something you just want to vent? You know, because when you're out there and you kind of have to take yourself out. Because my brain, when
I
my
was
wife
just
comes to me, I'm always trying to fix. You know, I'm like, how can I fix this? How can
It's
I
not
do
just
it?
your brain. Every
There
dude
you
is
go.
like
Right.
that.
So like
There you go. That's
gotta
exactly what I was
you
gonna
put
say.
that on the table so it's not seen as I'm trying to fix your issue while they're just trying to vent. You know.
But see,
That's true.
here's the thing with that. Here's the chink in the armor of that. We all know they cannot select what they want to eat for lunch, right? They usually have a hard time selecting what they want for food. How are they going to know if they want you to fix it or they just want you to listen about it? You know what I mean?
I feel like
So
that's
this
a
is
pretty
you running
easy
into
thing
these
to.
conundrums where they
Oh,
kind of want you
I'm
to
John
get
Wick.
it. They want you to get it. You know what I'm saying? They want you to
I
understand
saw
and
that.
get it right away. And that's what
No,
I'm
I mean,
saying. So
I
as a
don't.
guy,
I
you
think
have to empathize to be able to be successful and good with girls. Like you have to, but they don't because it's on demand for them. They snap a finger, it's there.
I think I'm definitely with Alex in the sense that I mean I don't necessarily I'm not one to necessarily ask, right? Which I mean I'm not necessarily against, right? Like that's fine. But I've always just been like when she comes to me with this kind of stuff, I'm always just trying to provide solution versus like just
Yes.
yeah,
But
I mean if it's something like
90% of the time, 90% of the time, they don't want a solution, bro.
Yeah, but
90% of the time.
also you got to think that on the reverse, right? Let's say you're frustrated about something that you're doing at the moment, and they start coming at you with solutions, and you're just like, "Yo, I'm just trying to figure this out. Just like let me figure this out," you know? Like it's the same thing.
bro, I can never do that shit. Every time I can, cause I know I'll give my full thing. I know the kind of person. When I'm in that mood of like I'm trying to think, I had this conversation with Jay, and I have found that women are. I find myself to be more trusting in Emily's thought than she finds myself to be trusting in mine. Whereas I don't question her thought as much and like try to break everything down T to T because I assume that she gets what I see as common sense, right? Like not common sense, but like a common
Logic?
She
like
sees
the
she
clear
sees
objective.
she's seeing the issues how you would see them. because she's already
No,
lived with you for
no,
so long that she kind of knows how you
Uh,
tackle these issues.
no, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the
no,
case.
actually, I think that's true. I think that's true. I think that's true that she kind of knows my mindset and like where I'm gonna gear towards. But what I'm trying to say is that like being questioned in like decision making and something that I would probably when it comes to her, like I would just not even think about. Like I would just think she's gonna do that, versus her like going in and questioning all these like basic decisions in some problem. Like, oh, make sure you do this. Oh, are you gonna do that? Or I don't know. I don't know. It makes it to where it aggravates me. Is what I was gonna try and say about like what I'm open about like, and I get mad. And so when I try to say like, yo, like leave me be. I'm just trying to like vent and think about this in my own thoughts. Uh, I do that and I communicate that in a wrong manner. And I'm an asshole about it. So it's I find that hard to. I find that.
That's why you come to your boys, bro. This is what you have to do. You go to the guys. We'll immediately understand what the issue is. Immediately.
I mean,
Like
the most
literally
most of the
immediately
times I be
understand what
popping
the
in the
issue
chat
is.
is just to ask questions. I ain't gonna lie.
Summon the council.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you,
you
you
gotta go to the
summon the
Jedi
council,
Council.
bro. Like that's all you do. Because like see, I'm a, truly understand because they girls, we don't live their lives, but we do need to understand to attract them. So we kind of understand what they're doing. But they don't need to understand us in any way, shape, or form.
They need to understand us more because we killed them a lot. So like we're seen as a threat until
Well,
proven otherwise.
not in no to attract. Like this is what I'm talking about. To attract a guy, they don't need to empathize with a guy, but we need to empathize with them in order to be able to attract them.
I get, I get where Jay's talking about more of instead of like actual traits of the person, more of like their school of thought. Those
Yes,
are the
you need to
two
understand
things.
what they're thinking at that moment, what they're feeling, what situation they're going
No,
through, for you to
I
be
I
able to
I
attract her.
I do get what Alex is saying. Like we kill more of them, right? Right, which is absolutely true. But I feel like the
Yeah.
way that most girls go about, clearing that thought is by just looking at you as a person and kind of looking at your face traits and the basic kind of person you are. You hang out when you have a group of friends, you still talk to your family, like these things that kind of like will point you in the direction of like, okay, this person kind of like stays within a community and uh can not abide, but more of like can stay with
He
these
can
people
live.
and
He can
not.
coexist.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
and
That's a good.
also
He can coexist.
suggestive to what you're looking for, right? Because like
There, that is also true. That is also
sometimes
true.
you just hook up, and sometimes
And
Damn,
let's see
I
the whole
haven't
thing
had
about
that happen. I've had to work for
the,
my
the
shit.
one the one the one thing you mentioned that like guys kill more, right?
You don't got that baby arm, Miggy.
Why is
Like
that?
Moonlight.
Why is that? Like think about it. Why is that? It's because of the emotions. Then when the guys are emotional, shit happens. Like in bad shit happens. This is why for guys it's not beneficial to be emotional because when you're emotional, you do destruction.
no, I think that's
No,
also
I don't agree
tied
with that.
back to what Miggy said about how we're told to bottle that shit, and then it just comes out in unhealthy ways.
This reminds
I
me.
think
This reminds me of the Jordan Peterson thing I talked about the other day. Like I don't agree with the fact that you have to be the strongest man and the person that everybody has to lean their shoulder on at your father's wedding. I think that that's a very weird way of thought and putting it. More of just like I want you should just be there grieving for your father. I don't think that I feel like everybody gets over it. Like everybody gets over the
do
death.
they do,
Everybody
but you
grieves
need
differently, yeah.
yeah, they do, but you also need to understand people always look for guidance in a situation where shit is going in a situation where shit is going haywire, especially in a
Hey,
situation like that.
but when we're talking about somebody dying, there is no solution. The person's
Right?
dead. Like this already happened. This is just you're going through something. There's no decisions to be made.
That's
It
the
is just you
point.
need to get through this.
That's the point. This is why you need to be that strong rock that understands that. You do your crying on your own time when nobody can see you. But at that time, you need to make sure that people are leaning
Why
on you when they're
why do
at
you
their
have to
No,
weakest and their
hide?
fuck.
lowest.
Why do you have to
No,
hide
you
your
want to.
emotions? Why can't you
I
all
was about
Because
cry
to say,
together?
fuck that.
because that's
Yeah, fuck that. Because I
because
want to do it how I need to do it as well. What do you mean? I'm gonna
Right?
put myself as this rock and then be mentally unstable myself because I didn't cry when I needed to cry, or I didn't grieve for my father when I needed to grieve for my father, or whoever the fuck died. Like
Like
that's
I
on
understand,
me to get myself over, and then maybe help others. But like
but what I'm
that's why I'm
what
saying
I'm
it's a weird way of thought.
The
I
way
understand what
the
he's saying. You
way
should maybe
I
be
dealt
strong
with
and try and
mine,
hold yourself up.
unfortunately our psyche is not built that way. This is what I'm trying to say. Like what you're saying makes sense, a lot of sense, and it would be awesome if it would, this whole should, could, would, like that's what it is. It should, could, would, but it's not what it is. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like it makes a whole lot of sense what you're saying, but unfortunately
I'm
life
gonna just
is
sit
not
my
set up that way.
What were you saying, Mickey?
the way I dealt with
yeah,
my
me.
situation, I didn't really show a lot of emotion except maybe one time where I did kind of break down initially because the whole entire family was there. But then I kind of bottled that shit up for a bit, and then there was that one day where I just went in my room and just let it all out.
It's because it's
It,
healthy.
Yeah, and
yeah,
let
and
me
that's what I'm
present
talking
something
about.
to you,
That's
Miggy.
exactly what I'm talking about.
And I don't mean to break down your situation, but I'm just gonna ask the question. Don't
Go
you
for it.
feel that maybe you could have had a more productive, healthy state of mind if you would have gotten over with that, or gotten over that way beforehand, instead of bottling it up and leaving it there to then just explode? Like,
No, no,
men are known for
no,
having this kind of
because
behavior of like letting things be on the side and bottling up, and then out of nowhere fucking freaking out. You know what I mean? Like this is something that people know like over time that like men are known for. Like, I've seen that a lot growing up.
I felt like
Yeah, because the guys are providers protect. Sorry,
I
Mickey, go ahead.
felt like I wasn't like I wasn't in a position to do that. I couldn't just keep crying and just I had to just get over it, go to work, and I would just work to forget about what was going on. That's
Well,
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I'm saying like just getting it out and doing it maybe a little more like the way your mind actually wanted you to go about it, not that your situation forced you to do so.
well,
It would have
this is what I,
maybe.
this is what I
I'm just this is
told
my
you.
I'm
Like
just a question.
that's
I'm
why you
asking.
have your group
yeah,
of
yeah.
boys that are gonna be able to
I'm
understand
thinking
you.
by the
You know what I
way.
mean?
I'm just thinking. I mean,
Yeah,
could it have been healthier? Yeah, and a lot of people at the time did tell me to just like let it out. I remember Luz Maria at the funeral. She came up to hug me and she looked at me and she thought I had like a fucking straight face, like, and she was like, "Hey, it's all right, you can cry." And I kind of broke down a little bit, but I didn't actually completely break down like that one time. But
yeah.
But
No,
this
I
is what
mean
I'm trying to say. This is where you have your group of boys where you go to them and you say, "Hey, listen, I'm going through something," and this is
it's
where you
hard, man.
talk. But like when
it's
people
it's very
rely
it's
on
very
you,
hard to not feel
You know what?
judged.
Yeah,
And
and
and that,
like, is
that's
that like
that's the
something that
thing,
was
right?
put on you too? Because like that's a moment that's very culturally like linked to you're the man now,
Hmm.
like
correct.
no matter what your age. So like
Right, right.
it kind of puts you in that hole of you have to
That's a
like
classic. Seeing a fatherly figure die and like at the funeral, everybody telling this little kid, "Oh, you're the man of the house now," right?
like
Like
Hmm.
not saying
that's
that your
that's a classic
situation was.
movie
Oh, it was.
situation.
It was. It
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
was. 100%.
But I mean, and that's what it kind of sounds like when you say I had to like just tighten up and like deal with it and go to work. Which I get that situation, but and also like going to your boys is it's hard, man. You like you said, it's hard to not be judged, even if your boys don't judge you in any kind of way. It's a moment that someone starts to spit any kind of opinion, whether it's positive, negative, which more than likely with your boys going to be positive. It can
So
just
like
come off a certain way, and
Yeah.
that's why it's
some
having
people
strong
think
group of
differently. And
guys that are
like
gonna
Alex
be.
said, some people grieve differently, and that can affect your mental state if you don't have a open mind to coming in and just
Exactly.
or the right kind of
If you
strength.
don't have a proper person that kind of encourages and kind of boosts you up in a healthy way, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to talk
Well,
to
that's
somebody.
I think
that's why having a strong
it's
group
like
of
Jay says,
guys
man.
that gonna like
It's like
that
Jay said, you
gonna
gotta have someone that's gonna tell you how it is.
yeah, because you're
Simple as that.
the guy. When I say your boys, like the guys that are there, they're not gonna sit there and sugarcoat and say you're fucking up or hey, listen, it's okay, you can say whatever you want in this situation. And if you need my opinion, I can give it to you. But if you don't need my opinion, it is what it is. But when you're fucking up, they're like you're fucking up. You know what I mean? That's you just need a strong group of guys that are not gonna fucking throw you on the goddamn bus. They're not gonna do anything there. When you say, uh, we're going. What was that movie thing? Like, I can't tell you what it is. We're gonna fuck up some people, blah blah blah. And the guy
That's that
goes,
movie
"We're taking
with
my
Ben
car or your
Affleck
car."
and Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner and Ben Affleck. I don't remember the name of the movie. I actually watched it recently within the last year because I remember I saw that clip and I was interested and I went and watched the movie. I don't remember the name of the movie. Something with his girlfriend and this and that. Yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's funny though because that
It's
friend
it's
in the same movie
it's
is an
like
actual dickhead.
it's like it's
But
it's it's like a thing where let's say God forbid your brother is like murdering people, right? Like he's murdered 30 people. What you doing? You're grabbing him by his head, you taking him out of that situation. Later you'll tell him like, hey, what the fuck you doing, bro? You need to stop killing people. This is not cool. But in that
The Town.
situation, you
yeah,
need to be there.
It's called The Town, I think.
the town, the town. I think they're right. I think you're right. Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, uh,
So
fucking
nobody's saying
basically
that.
They're
Batman
like,
and
yeah,
Hawkeye.
right, yeah.
Yeah, nobody's saying that you can be emotional. Be emotional, but there's a place and time. As the guy, and especially if you're in charge of other people now in their lives, and you're the provider and the person that's going to provide security and provide in general, like you need to know when there's this time. Like it's time for you to say, okay, well, this is my role now. Like I can do this here, but I cannot do this there because it's gonna fuck up the dynamic. You got to look in the future, and you got to look in the future, not your future, but the other people's future.
You also got to think
My
about
only
yourself
problem,
too, because grief
yeah.
is like the ocean. It comes in waves. Like sometimes they're high tide,
So
sometimes
You
it's
never
low.
get over it. My mom, I know, will definitely not get over it.
Let me take Zeus out. Let me take Zeus out. But I'll be on the phone
So
though.
no, I mean that's what I was gonna say. Like you have different scenarios, and what you're saying, I understand, and in a certain way, I get how it could work. Right? You have a very strong mindset, and this thing goes down,
Doesn't
and you
come.
understand. You understand because I feel that death is something very very hard to deal with, but at the same time, you do realize that there's almost like a what am I gonna do about it? What there is nothing
There's
to do
nothing that
about
you
it.
can
We
do
have to
about
move
it.
on. That you have to move on, right? It's one of those situations. So if you can have a very strong mindset and do what you say, I understand. But you also have to understand. You have to understand that the average person isn't a psychologist, and this line that you think you can push yourself to is very subjective, and you really
Right.
don't know that. You really don't know this
Right.
line that you might push yourself to and freak the fuck out.
And
So
Yeah.
like you need a very healthy environment to do that. So yes, I would agree with you that your friends could be an outlet for that, but like if they're not very emotionally aware themselves, they might send you down on an even healthier path or unhealthy
whew,
path to where you end up fucking
Fuck
yourself
yeah.
worse.
And
can't go
this is
fuck
this
into
is
a
my
group of
point.
monkeys and
Like,
ask them how to drive a car, right?
well, that's my point. Like, that's why you have to have a solid group of guys. Like, you need to be able to choose that, and this comes from like your father teaching you how to do it, his father teaching you how to do it. Like it's a generational thing. Like you as a
Right.
young kid don't know about this stuff. They someone has to teach you. And
And
then when you break the families, this is what you get. You get a bunch of emotional guys that commit crimes.
if it still affects you to a point where you feel like therapy is an option for you if you can afford it, that's the one of the best ways because yes, that friend group is helpful, but a complete stranger that you literally
Knows
pay,
the brain.
yeah, and is educated in like psychology,
It's
you
kind of like
it
when
And
lets
you
you,
not
if you're
and
look
not
open
outside
to
of
it.
you.
biased. And not biased in a sense.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You gotta find the right therapist for you, and also you have to be open to therapy because if you're resistant and also depending on your therapist, like it's a very it's a very hard system, but it can be helpful to talk to a complete fucking stranger and just unload, and then get a reason or like maybe a different perspective.
And sometimes a lot of people don't have like I'm gonna like
So,
the majority of people that I've seen when they
turn them
get
on
to that
the
point where they
screen.
tell their friend like up front
I'm
where
gonna
they're
make them
like
laugh.
fucking up about something, it almost comes a lot of times when I see it like the majority of the times, and I almost wanted to say that I know the majority of people don't do this, but they do it in a way they do it, but they do it in a way that is a lot of times aggressive and actually then becomes insulting, and then it turns into a back and forth of just like going at each other because when this person went to go express how this their friend was actually fucking up, they decided to go out at them for something that wasn't necessary.
People
So
take
that
uh,
happens.
they take it as attacks, and then when they feel attacked, they attack. Unfortunately.
But you also, but I also have seen. I get what you're saying, right? Like they might just be saying it straight up. But what my situation, what I'm trying to say is that when these friends finally get to the point where they tell their other friends straight up, it's almost like they're bottled up and they're sick of it, and it does become an attack in a certain way because they go too far and they actually, I've seen people start insulting and being like, like you're being a stupid bitch and you're like this dumb motherfucker because you're doing this and this and this. Well,
Yeah.
this and this and this might be valid, but you didn't have to go out of your way and like go on and like attack. It's one thing to maybe insult, but to actually attack is what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is where
That
that's what I'm
that's the
saying.
majority of the way I've seen friend groups do it. So it's hard, man. You don't. It's
this
hard to
is
find stable.
where that controlling of the emotion comes in. Like you as a guy need to be you need to control your emotions. You do,
You know
because if
what?
you don't control your emotions, bad things happen. Like if you look
You
at
know
it
what?
that way,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
if you look at it that way, so when you're not controlling your emotions, bad things happen. If you look at it that way and then you say, okay, you know what? I need to control my emotions. This is what I need to do. And you start lashing out less and less and less, no matter what the attack is. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what separates you from the group, and this is where people are gonna keep continuing coming back to you because
Imagine,
you're not burning them on fire, no matter the situation. They're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
imagine if they got the influence this would make, like if like or the change if they could get people to forcefully communicate in a proactive manner for a certain amount of time. So like my thing when you're talking about this, right, like communication and getting this in under your belt as a stable skill, I feel like the podcast and the boys on Discord helped with that because you're forced to just sit there and conversate. There's not really like there might be an activity like a game or whatever going on, but it puts you in that situation where it's just pure communication, right? And then the podcast even more. Like Discord is but right, like the podcast is especially that because
I'm
we're
here.
forced to talk about proactive stuff because we're not just gonna sit here and I mean we do talk bullshit, but we try to talk about stuff like this, which is an amazingly like interesting conversation.
Well,
And that
but
I
see,
think
this
is something that maybe a lot of people could fucking use.
but how can you do that when you know the next person is gonna get emotional with the stuff that you say? Do you see what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like,
but wait. What if I get that, and that's gonna happen? But what if you can get past that and just force yourself to keep going and learn? And
that's the
that's gonna
point.
happen. I would expect that to fucking happen. But I get what you're saying. People aren't gonna get past. A lot of people are gonna say, "Fuck this! I'm gonna want to sit here and talk with this dumb motherfucker because he believes this and this and this." Right? Even though maybe this dumb motherfucker has some actual facts behind this, and this, and you just don't want to listen because you think he's a bigot or you think he's a socialist or you think whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like that happens, and but you gotta like if you force, and that's what I'm saying. If you could force these people in some kind of way to sit down and like fucking learn to talk, get past this bullshit. Imagine the productivity that would come.
Just get him on
But
Omegle
that
for about 30 minutes.
MDMA.
Get him on Omegle.
no, no. See, that can only happen when both parties know the other person's feelings are not going to get hurt. That's the only way you
or
can have
or
that.
or they accept that even after the feelings are hurt, and maybe if it was an emotional response, they can come back after and still get over it.
Move on.
With
It's like kind of
Right.
like one of those things.
either
Like
way, you're
things can
controlling your
happen,
emotions.
mistakes can happen. It's not. For me, it's kind of like it's okay. Maybe you didn't control it the first time, but acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's not even like you have to go
Accountability.
up and say
Accountability is a
sorry.
big thing.
There you go. There you go.
Listen,
There we
I
go.
can tell you this: the
Accountability.
best friends that I've ever had, all the interactions always began with fights. Always.
What do you mean?
Best friends that I've ever like. That's how we were always butted heads in the beginning. We never were friends. I hated with this guy. This guy hated me.
But you were real
But
about
then,
it to each other.
yeah, well,
Because you
obviously,
didn't give a
and then
fuck to not be real to this motherfucker, right?
There you
And
go.
then through that realness, you found a respect and a friendship.
that's the
Exactly.
whole.
You
That's the
pulled
whole
the words
point.
out of my mouth. Man.
Like when you get this whole thing, well, somebody's feelings gonna get hurt when you say something. Yeah, overall majority of people treat them like that, but that's why you have to have a group of friends where you're like, I'm gonna say what it is, and I know they're not gonna fucking take their feelings and then bottle that shit up and then throw it back at me like you're gonna be open about this, and this is why you need a good group of friends, you know. And these are the times where you can be emotional, but then there are other times, such like maybe in Miggy's situation, I don't know exactly, but where he needed to be that rock. Like he had to be. There's no other way because you have a bunch of emotional waves that are crashing against you. You have to be there. You know,
I feel like there's a way to approach this. I'm not intellectually enough to maybe break it down all the way, but I feel like there's a more proactive and healthy way to approach that situation versus just sticking it up. Which I understand sometimes you gotta stick shit up and deal with it. But
no, no,
this is a
I'm not saying
situation.
stick it out and never talk about it. Still talk about
No,
it, but talk about it at a different time in front of different people, or not even in front of people at all, because the people that are being that are that are touched by the situation and they're in a low point, they won't be able to help. If anything, you're gonna make your things worse by being emotional,
I
right? Like
mean, we also gotta think about the why you gotta man up, why you gotta go suck it up and go to work, you know? Because
because that's
You,
unfortunately we're the
I,
expendable race and
like
we're
I mean,
designed for
again,
that.
like it comes back to what Eddie said. I mean, there's nothing that you can do about death. Everybody's gonna get it, and you just gotta move on. You gotta
right?
just keep doing your thing, you know.
But you also got to understand, you know, because every person in this world can be traced to two female DNAs, right? But not every person in this world can be traced to two male DNAs. Why? Because it just tells you that there are a lot less males procreating. As a matter of fact, this percentage is somewhere in the 40s versus about 80% of the females throughout the history by mitochondrial DNA tracing. You can tell always who's the mother, and you can always tell like that the genetic pool of
Oh,
females
nowadays is a little bit
within your
hard.
DNA is larger than males.
Nowadays is a little
And
bit
this just
hard if
tells
they
you that
adopt it and they look like a fine girl.
Yeah, Maury's off the air too.
no, what I'm trying to say is that back in the day, only 40% of the males procreated, which means
Oh,
that the rest of the 60 didn't.
they can't see
We
us
are,
on the stream.
they can't. Oh, yeah, stream is
Oh.
Miggy. El Miggy, God.
L. Yeah, yep, yeah, my bad. That was
El
on me.
Miggy,
Big L,
damn.
Look,
Big
man,
L,
I got
Big
into it.
L.
I got into it, and I started paying a little more attention to you guys. So I switched the screen to the other side, and that's not the right stream scene.
So what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is like 40% of the males never procreated. We males are the expandable race. Like literally, that's what we're built for. We're built for like protection, provision, and there's a reason why average male, you know, besides other things, there's one of the reasons why average male only lives to be 77 years old, but an average female lives to be 84. Females
Dumb as
take better
fuck.
care of themselves.
We do dumb
Well,
shit.
females take better care of themselves than we do. The thing is, the reason you don't take good care of yourself, you make sure everyone else around you does, is because you kind of innately within your DNA lizard brain, you know that you're the expandable race. Like you are here to do things for others. But first, you
I
need to
just
get
like
to the
doing hood
point to
rat
be
shit
able
with
to
my
do things
friends.
for others. Huh? Put her at
I
shit with
said
your
I just
friends?
like doing hood rat. I just like doing hood rat shit with my friends.
Yeah.
I was more saying I don't know where the male female thing came from. I was more saying you had to man up and go to work because you know you don't we don't have a national thing where your company's like I'm sorry, here's time to paid time to grieve. You know,
Yeah, whether
some
you're a girl
places
or a
do,
guy, you're still gonna
Well,
have to stick it
right?
well,
out.
when the paternity time was introduced, like overwhelming majority of males don't take that. In the United States, we have paternity time through companies, but the overwhelming majority of males don't take that. And when they ask, they're like, "I can't afford to do that. I need to go work and make the money." Like it's this is part of another part of the deal. Like you know, when I was going a little more into research on like you know wage gap between females and males, you know what I mean? Like these things are coming up. You know what I mean? Like you know, more time being taken off from work. Like females like to take more time from work than males do, and this is the dynamic. Like they'll take time to have a baby and things like that, go on maternity leave. Where the guys, even though it's minuscule in the United States, where the guys have the
Well,
same amount, but they don't.
guys are also looked upon poorly if they take paternity leave.
I don't think it's looked up
They
poorly
are.
anymore. I don't think
Pete
so.
Buttigieg got ripped in the media for taking paternity leave after they had their baby.
Who was it?
I honestly would not feel insulted at all
Yeah,
for
like
taking
that. I think
paternal
that's
leave.
just that was
I
just
wouldn't.
part of them saying, "Oh, you took paternity leave," and then a bunch of people are, "Oh, you're being a little bitch." But there's probably was a reason why he took that paternity leave because they're probably financially secure to do that, right? So, like, majority of the guys don't have that choice, and they got to get back to work. You know what I mean? So,
There's a reason
so
that we have maternity leave predominantly here, comparatively to other countries in the European uh,
well, there is like
nation
two
that have
years.
paternity leave, right? It's not just mother gets, to leave. It's both parents be able to get off.
Yes, we have the same thing here, even though it's
Some
minuscule. I think
companies,
it's only 3 months. Yeah, some companies.
some
Yeah, three
companies,
months.
yes,
Even though it's 3 months, you still have it. The
yes.
the point is the companies that do have it, the overwhelming majority of males don't take that, and that was part of the reason why they
And
were
there's
explaining there's
also a
the wage gap
reason
that
too,
exists.
because paternity leave isn't mandated to where you have to get,
Correct.
your full pay. So you just had a high ass fucking one of the what 25 to 30 thousand dollar
$1,000.
stays
Yep.
at the
If it's not
fucking
natural birth. Yep.
right at the hospital, and insurance might not cover it as much. So like you might have to run back to that grind, and she just pooped out a baby. So like
Yes, exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like these all these things we take in account. Yet in popular social media, they'll go out there and they say, well, whether it's talking about the wage gap or this and that, but nobody really takes this. Like I truly think every situation that's happening, every situation that's like very, very like people feel strongly about, it's not just one fucking reason why it's happening. There's multitude of reasons why one thing is happening. And
yeah.
each reason contributes more or less, but they all contribute to this thing happening. It's not just this happened and this is why we have it. No, like yeah, that's maybe a good percentage of that, but it's not all of it.
And it's a
There's
give and
more to it.
take, because like
Yes.
with the Supreme Court, they just ruled against redistricting in Alabama, calling it
Yeah.
unconstitutional, you know, because they were trying to keep voter suppression by cutting out predominantly majority black communities and cutting out their voting power by mixing them with more white communities.
Can you
But
go a little more into that? Can you go a little more into that and just kind of explain how would that influence?
gerrymandering,
Yeah, yeah. Like so basically if they're
so
taking, let's say, black population of United States or this community and they're putting it with whites, meaning if the whites elect someone, their vote is not really gonna count. Is that why?
so it's more delusion, right? So like we make these little squigglies to where like we know there's a heavy black population, but
Mm-hmm.
we add them into a larger state where there might not be like high density white, but there's more white or older white there that'll vote, so that when it comes to the vote, it's more diluted in that county, because the way it's shaped is it cuts the what would be a majority if they chose to abide by the law, which would go one way because it's a majority. It dilutes it to where it's a lesser, or it leans more to the majority that they want, and
So
that's when it's
basically, let's
illegal.
say if this black community decides, like overwhelming majority is known to decide to go, let's say, Democrat, right? And they don't want that
Yes.
to happen because those elected officials would need to vote Democrat. They're saying let's divide this territory, add this little portion of them here or little portion here. This way, when this other where precinct votes, they're going to vote more Republican, so their vote is not really going to count. And now, whoop-de-doo, we don't have Democratic nominees from that district.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
is that about
one
it?
of the I think one of the best examples, I think it's in Montgomery, like the university used to have like its own political
District.
zone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
district, when the majority of the population of the surrounding of the university was black. And they did that purposely to cut them into different districts so that they could cut up to dilute the vote, instead of just giving them the district, and then it would actually be a more democratic
And
election.
this is usually done, and this is usually done by them saying, okay, we kind of know that this area is going to vote Democrat or Republican.
Yes. because
You're just
So
manipulating the zoning.
with the law to get a majority district, you have to have majority of the certain kind of non-white, and they also have to give infliction that they are voting a certain way.
so my solution to this would be everyone gets immediately nominated as independent. No Republican, not Democrat. Everyone is independent. Now these motherfuckers have to work harder trying to figure out who's gonna vote like what. And then
I would
this whole question about rezoning is gonna be gone.
I would agree with that,
By
and I
default,
would
everybody's
also agree that we should like outlaw campaign ads. Like we shouldn't know like who we're voting for. We should see what they are. Either we should see their political stances and what they voted on if they have a political history. You know,
I mean, the
yeah,
because that's
but
what
majority of the
matters.
nobody's gonna.
campaign ads
If that
are
happened,
just
no one is
bashing the
getting
other
voted in.
person.
Just
So
saying, no one is getting
I
voted in.
understand.
No one
But
is getting
like
voted in.
those hateful political ads, those like manipulative and like those political ads, those should be like. But then that's the shaky standpoint of the First Amendment. So like that's what we've been fighting for a while.
go in the pot.
Yeah, see, because those hateful ads are, they're hateful, but then some of them are true.
No lights
So, like,
everywhere.
I don't know. I know he's turning off the
so
lights
like the
everywhere.
ones that are true, they're saying, well, this is what they did. Like, this is something you might want to know before you vote
Right.
for that candidate. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So,
one for Ted Cruz literally just took like audio recording of shit he said and then put it over what was happening in like Syria and stuff like that. Basically making the comparison that they're trying to turn their state into like Iran to oppress women and shit. And like
and
people take the truth and do what they want with it now. Like, do I agree with Ted Cruz? No, I think he's an idiot, but man keeps getting
no, no,
elected.
that's true. But then we also know that the woman vote in the United States wins elections. Literally, that's what it is. So everyone and their mother is trying to appease the woman vote, right? Like,
I
see,
mean,
this is
yes,
what happened. If
and
we were in that society we are talking about of aliens where there's like pods, you don't have to worry about it. Can you imagine the society we would have?
you
Can't
muted.
hear you. You're muted.
You muted yourself, Ed.
That's what I was saying, bro. Imagine your actual purpose in life. Like it would be completely different than what we even think of life like right now. It would literally
Yeah.
be like you're growing up learning like astrophysics, like in by like third grade, and then and then by the time you're in high school, you can go to you're fucking the Mandalorian. You can go across the galaxy. Like that
You just
would
want to
be
be a
insane.
Mandalorian, bro. Like, just be
I
honest. You just
mean,
want to be a Mandalorian.
But
That's what
then,
but
it is.
then, but then
but
you
then,
live in a realm where you could pursue your passion. Comparative to that grind of trying to survive.
Yeah, but see, like that's the whole thing of realm of pursuing the passion. Like this is my fucking favorite thing. You'll go on YouTube, you'll get some rich billionaire that's like doing meditation, and they'll now like, you should meditate. It helps me a lot. Yeah, no shit, motherfucker. You got the money and time. Now you have the time to meditate. I don't have the money, nor I have the time. How you want me to carve out another time to meditate? That makes no damn sense of what you're trying to say. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
depending on who they are, because some of those got rich because they said meditate and come to my retreat so that I can teach you how to
Well,
meditate.
yeah, there's that too. There's that too. But what I'm trying to say, like,
you ask him
you
how to
don't
get the
get
wealth.
to do the things you like, your passions and all of this. There's this guy, I'm sure you guys don't like him. He's this kind of shorter guy, always wears suits, glasses. He's always very aggressive. And he's like, yo, you just want to be a philanthropist. What the F are you talking about? First, like, become somebody, and then you can be a philanthropist, not immediately become a philanthropist where you have nothing going on for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that's my
You
idea.
didn't
Like,
give a shit out.
like first make money, have some status, have some power, and then become whatever you want to be. You want to go out there and help somebody, go out there and help somebody when you have the resources and you truly can add some help. But you going out there and planting one tree because the fire just killed the whole forest ain't gonna do shit. But if you take, I don't know, $10 million and donate to them putting a bunch of trees in, what's gonna help more? The
I
$10
mean,
million, or you planting one tree?
well,
Or like,
you give $1 million, that's a lot better for the environment. You plant one tree on the internet, that's a lot better for your PR. So
well,
like,
yeah, No. What I'm saying, like I'm talking about planting physical trees, right? Like,
Yeah.
or like the like humane society. Like, bunch of people will go and volunteer their time to be in humane society. Why don't you take that time and earn a whole lot of money, and then give this money to the humane society where they can actually do something with it, instead of you going in there on your own volunteering for the 6 hours in 3 months, where versus you can just give them a bunch of money where now they're set for 3 months every day. You know what I
some
mean?
people, like even you said with the work you did with the hands on your kitchen made you feel fulfilled. Like it felt like you accomplished
It
something.
does. It does. It
Some
does. That's one
people
of the
like
most
that
rewarding
physical
things. No,
connection,
it
you
is.
know?
It is. It is one
Right.
of the most rewarding things when you donate, when you give your time, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. When you give your time, it is one of the most rewarding things. Like they've done studies about this that prove this to be true. My point is, before you can do that, you need to reach something. So if you really want to do that, and that's the end goal, reach of something, get some sort of a height, and then say, you know what, I'm here. I'm making grown up money. Now I can invest myself into something else that doesn't return anything, but that is okay if I'm going to lose a little bit of money on this end. That's my whole point, you know. And like a lot of people will go out there and say, well, laugh about like, well, if you want to be rich, like don't drink a Starbucks coffee, you know, every day and blah blah blah. Yeah, like I saw a meme somebody posted is like, why don't these billionaires
You got a water for
pull
me, don't you?
themselves by the bootstraps out of that water, right? Like out of with this billionaire that went down in a submarine,
Yeah.
and they're like, why don't they pull themselves out with the bootstraps out of the water? And then somebody commented, "Oh, stop drinking Starbucks or avocado toast." Well, if you can't afford Starbucks and avocado toast, but yet you're doing it on a daily basis, and now you're saying that you're in a money deficit, maybe you should start cutting out Starbucks and avocado toast. I don't know. I'm just saying it's just an
I
idea.
thought it was hilarious the other day. I saw a meme talking about like this Hispanic girl was making fun of white people. She said, "I can't believe white people making fun of us like this. They take our struggle food of avocado on toast and make it into something bougie. That's bullshit. That's what I ate when I was
Yeah,
hungry."
And now it's
yeah,
Shit.
$19
Oh,
because
and
some
now it's
yeah.
20
hipster was
bucks to get
like,
an avocado
"That's
toast.
nice."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly what
Because
it is,
some
you know?
because some white hipster wanted to explore and was like, "Ooh, this is exotic," and then they're like,
yeah,
I can fucking corporize this and fucking get $19 from fucking avocado
That's
toast,
I think
that's
it
the
was
whole
part of the. I
point.
think it was part of the guacamole boom.
right? Which is
So,
helping the
boys,
cartel.
I gotta
Yeah.
call it for the night. If you guys want to keep going, be my guest. But I gotta hit the bed. I literally haven't slept for 48 hours.
No, I
So
mean I think we can cut it.
you guys have a good
We've
night.
gone over for quite a bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
almost
I
two
know you
hours
guys have
anyway.
been on
No, it's way past 2 hours. We're
way
almost
more
at
than
3.
2 hours.
We're past two
Yeah.
hours.
It's
Huh?
like 3 hours. Yeah. So
Well,
you
let's
guys.
end it
So we're
here.
gonna call it.
Yeah,
All
let's end it
right.
right now.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks
So
guys for being in
episode
the chat.
55, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Eddie's quitting because
55.
he can't handle the heat, you
No,
know.
he's right. It's getting
I'm
late.
sorry.
He's on
I'm
vacation and
being
still on
forced.
that work
So
grind.
Jay, if you want to keep
hell
talking, you can
yeah,
keep
hell yeah,
talking, big dog. I'll leave the stream going
yeah.
for you, man.
Nah, man, I gotta take Zeus out.
All
He needs to poop because he's been I think he's
Shit.
been kind of like active.
right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for
All right,
coming in
guys.
to
Thanks again,
episode
everyone, for
55.
showing up.
Good night.
You guys
Emily,
have a good
Eddie,
night. Love
Senior,
y'all.
Arthur. Who else was on here? A bunch of people I think were on here, right?
Yeah, we got a
Eddie
few.
Senior, Arthur, um, Emily. Thanks guys for
Amen.
coming in and commenting, and continue with your glamping.
Right. Enjoy your
Peace.
vacation.
See you
Peace.
Tuesday.
It's on.